Starting a new route. We're speeding through things. We started with the choices. I'm not sure. She's immature. I do mind. And now we got this choice. I don't remember this choice being here before, honestly. Is it new to this route? Only Muramasa is suitable for me? In terms of waifus? I'm pretty sure this is like... They're pairing Otori, and our character's like, I suppose. And then there's no Ayane, however. And then there's only Muramasa is suitable for me. Like you're making the spider your waifu. Okay. Is that new dialogue? It is. We're not high velocity skipping it. Yep, that's new content. Okay. If anyone or anything is truly a match for me, it's Muramasa and Muramasa alone. Cold, blood-red steel. A body made for crawling through mud. No warmth, no humanity, nothing but a blade. We started out strong. I don't know if we ended strong. That's all I deserve. Muramasa is open as a route option! Oh my god! We did have to finish the other two routes to get this one, as the option wasn't there when I tried to set it up. So I was trying to set this up earlier. I wanted to set up all the routes, and I legitimately could not do this route without the Otori. I couldn't do this route. Like, I did the setup for the Otori route, and I couldn't do the setup for the other routes. So it looks like we gotta do this one. Time to simp for our favorite mechanical spider AI. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. There's a spider route. No wonder ATK likes to draw humanoid Muramasa ass. Yes. In case you're wondering, the official artist is ATK, and he does in fact draw fan art. And it even some of it even goes on those websites. I'm sure you guys know which ones I'm talking about. Alright, we got points with Muramasa. Does that mean we have a risk of killing Muramasa? Okay, back to that. That was the encounter in the cabin with the kids and the old dark elf slash... I don't remember what they are. Imichi. There we go. We gotta go back to high velocity skipping our way through things. We like large ones. Today, at least. Ripperoni someone. Am I looking at a guide? Yes, I am. No chance. Guessing your way through these is a real pain. Like, some of them kind of made sense, but actually finding the Otori route was not straightforward at all. So, like, I'm just using the guide. What route am I following? I'm going for... Well, we'll see. I know which route we're going for. Okay. Stay here. We just chill out here, because we need to... We're doing stay here, because I assume we want to meet Chachamaru. We're doing the Chachamaru route. And I return my attention to the circuit. As before, the racers are jockeying violently for position. I watch with no small interest. Almost clicked the super speed. But I believe this will be new text as well. After several minutes pass with no significant developments on the track, I excuse myself and head for the control tower. How is Muramasa getting on? We're off to the control tower.
Muramasa.
Muramasa! We're simping for Muramasa, never forget.
Mido,
what's wrong? Many things. As expected, the metal echo that greets me shows no hint of surprise at my approach. Master and Tsurugi are two halves of one whole. Once joined by Tatawaki no Gi, no distance or barrier can sever their communication. Except for that one time.
Nothing.
I just came to check on your progress.
So,
Nothing changed. Still no sign of the infected Tsurugi. Or of Ginseigo, of course. Muramasa's head is pointed at the racetrack, but I can tell that her attention lies elsewhere. I'm not sure what precisely gives me this impression. It's not as though I somehow followed the gaze of her compound eyes. Perhaps something reached me through our invisible bond. What are you looking at? You can tell?
お前の気が散っているのは察せられた。
I'm not chastising you, I just felt that you might be distracted in some way.
ごめんなさい。新しいのが出てきたらちゃんと見ておくから、そこは心配しないで。
Sorry, I'll check any new units that come out. Don't worry.
もともと心配はしていない。
Oh no, I wasn't worried.
そう。
Okay. We're just gonna
街を
catch
見
it.
ていたの。
I was looking at the city.
鎌倉か。
Ah, Kamakura.
ええ。変わったなって思って。
I was thinking how much it's changed.
昔にも
You've
見
seen
た
it
ことが
before?
あるのか。
ええ。
Yes. I think to ask what it was like that back then, but ultimately decide against it.
聞かないんだ。
You're not gonna ask?
なんとはなしにな。
I thought I shouldn't.
今日はやたらに伝わるみたいね。
Things really seem to be getting across today.
Oh.
They do. We fall silent. For a time, there's only the sound of the wind between us. When Muramasa was still flesh and blood, Yamato was in the throes of civil war. Kamakura, too, was surely...
そろそろ戻る。
Time for me to head back. Somehow nobody notices, like, the 6-foot wide metallic red spider on the roof in the middle of a race with all flying mecha. Or flying power, so that's the power armor.
え、
Okay.
ところで
By the way,
何？
yep.
俺はどうやって戻るべきなのだろう。
How do I get down from here?
そもそもどうやって登ってきたの？あ
What I
な
want to
た。
know is how you got up here in the first place. How do I get down? 2 points. 2 points with Muramasa. Uh-oh. We're getting simp points with Muramasa. I return to the stands with Muramasa's assistance, and that's when it happens. Something happens, and I forget who we see, but it's not who we're looking for. Because we're going to press the N key and fast forward. Bloop. Muramasa's flipping out? I don't remember the Muramasa flipping out scene. That's unusual. Ask Muramasa to exceed.
それは嫌だ。
I don't want that.
どうしてよ。ミド、ああいうのは好きなんでしょ？
Why not? I thought you were into this whole racing thing.
好きだ。が、俺のまとう剣はお前の他に
I
な
am,
い。
but even so, I'll use no Tsurugi but you.
剣鍛冶の作品は生涯一両。武者の狩る剣もまた、生涯一両のみであるべし。
A smith may forge only one Tsurugi. A musha, therefore, should wield only one Tsurugi. Bonding for life is an ancient tradition among musha, though it has fallen out of practice since the advent of Kazuuchi.
俺の剣はすでにお前に定まった。他の剣を使う気はない。
You're my Tsurugi. I have no wish to wield another. Oh my god, are we getting Muramasa points? We're getting so many Muramasa points.
それでもお前は俺に
Will you ask me to
他
do
の
so
剣
all
を
the
使え
same?
というのか。
ごめんなさい。今のは冗談。ただ愚痴っただけ。
You're right. Sorry, I was just blowing off steam. Forget what I said,
気にしないで、
I
ミド。
know what to do.
自分のやるべきことは分かっているつもり。
Tsundere
かけっこでも
Spider.
何でも、あなたが出ろと言うなら出るから。楽しくはないけれど。
I know what to do. I may not like it, but I'll participate in this race if that's what you want of me. Friendly reminder for anyone who doesn't remember, Muramasa is or was a female Imichi, so she's a dark elf hottie, okay? Just bear that in mind. We're not just metallic spider, but if you're imagining human form, don't just think spider robot. Don't think like Drider. Think that, okay?
私は
I'm your Tsurugi
あ
after
な
all.
たの剣なんだものね。
あ、
I'm counting on you. What happens if you fall in love with Muramasa? Do you have to kill Muramasa when you kill someone? Oh my god, we're getting so many Muramasa points. Mikashin Koji, but tanned. What?
あとはどこが残ってい
Left
た
to
でしょう
check.
か。
Right. Now is where we diverge into saying hi to Liger. Yeah, good old Liger. Obviously, we're not doing these two's route, so it doesn't make sense to pick anyone else. High velocity skip. Ah, good. Killed racing girl. It wasn't someone important, so we're good. This time we look at... Why is looking at Sayo an option here? Alright, guys. I'm just gonna... Can I hide the... Oh, I can't hide it in this. Okay, guys. You got your choice. You got Otori. You got Otori on the left. You got Ichijo on the right. And you got Sayo in the back with, like, the Hawaiian shirt and khaki shorts. You think Sayo best girl? You're clearly memeing. Like, why on earth would you... Why is Sayo even an option here? I don't know. Like, I wonder if you got these three options and labels, how many people would unironically pick Sayo? I don't think that many. Anyway, we look at Ichijo, because we have to, apparently. Oh, it's new dialogue? Apparently I've never picked Ichijo in this situation, which makes sense, because last time I think I picked... I don't know what I picked. Ichijo's swimsuit is the sort worn by students. She picked it out herself from the beach store's considerable selection. It's not a school event. She could have chosen something a little more liberating, but I suppose that sort of daring would be unlike her. Yeah, she's daring in different ways. Besides,
これはこれで
it's not without merit.
はい
Sorry?
魅力的な姿だ一条男性として刺激される
This guy's choice of phrasing. A fine choice, Ichijo. Your appearance is most stimulating.
出やがりましたね、天然直球。お嬢様、これは窮地でございますよ。
And the natural-born gigolo does it again. The mistress is quite dire. The situation's quite dire, mistress.
まさか影明様がスクミズージだったなんて自然調査が足りませんでした
I had no idea he was in school swimsuits. I should have done my research. Ripperoni.
こうなっては仕方ありません
There's only one thing
さ
to
よ
do.
せめてチャチャとか入れて二人の間を妨害しなさい
Hurry, Sayo. You have to ruin the
かしこ
mood.
まりました。
As you wish. Pardon me, sir.
港様、
Yes?
男性が刺激されたとはつまりエロいことを考えたということでございましょうか。
Stimulating. May we take that to mean you're indulging in fantasies of a carnal nature?
それなりに
You could say that. He is not even saying no. Ichijo's getting more and more...
ダメです、お嬢様。波の攻撃では切り返されてむしろ逆効果。
It's no use, mistress. My attack only made him stronger.
バーヤの役立たず
How could you, Sayo? How could you? Why does this keep happening? Because it's funny, maybe?
とにかく
Anyway,
話を
back
元
to
に戻しま
business.
すけど
Back to business. The high velocity skipping business, that is. Hey. Ah, the end of scene choice. I see. Is she my daughter today? She is my daughter. Rest in peace, daughter. Plop. Rest in peace, fake daughter. Yep, the curse takes hold. Ripperoni. Skip. And this means we're into a new route if we don't get a game over immediately here. Rest in peace, whoever that was. Ah! His name was Tokita Mitsuo. It was the journalist, right? Freelance journalist chasing stories of the Crimson Musha. Rest in peace. Okay, I think we can fast forward. Ooh, new text. New text. Okay, okay. Boy, new content. Just what I love to see. Okay, we trudge down the road leading back to the jail. The young journalist's blood is fresh on my hands. His death a weight I may never set down, never shift to another's shoulders. All people, as they go through life, build up a store of sins, some great, some small. They stay with them until the day they die. That's why we struggle to live good, just lives, just as the burden we bear That the burden we bear may be as light as it may. I, however, will go on killing, laying the foulest sin on top the foulest sin, as if to flaunt the mental fortitude that allows me to do so. All to satisfy the selfish demand of my soul and put an end to my sister's madness. No doubt I'm a fool in the worst kind thereof, a low, vile creature unworthy of contempt. Yet even knowing this, I can't change. It's rather pathetic.
ミド、
Mito.
繰り返し言ってきたことだけれどね。あなたは何も考えなくていい。
I said it before and I'll say it again. Leave everything to me.
私に使われていればいい。心を止めて。止められないなら、私を憎めばいい。
Don't think, don't feel. Let your heart be stone, and if that's too hard, then hate me instead.
自分を憎むのはやめて。
Just stop hating yourself. Very good question. How do we think his dad will die this route? Last time he died to First time he died to Chachamaru. The next time he died to Otori. His dad is like Lancer, just dies at every route. Yeah, close enough, actually. See, the thing about Lancer is he always dies in a different way. It isn't the same as, like, someone who, like the bad guy who always has to be beaten. He's like a character who could reasonably have survived, who always ends up dying for some reason. Just stop hating yourself. Muramasa's trying to cheer us up.
俺の答えも繰り返し言ってきた。
My answer to has not changed. Spider waifu not doing it for you, Kageaki?
お前は道具だ。
You're a weapon, a
使
tool.
われるものに過ぎない。
Maybe if you saw the sapient robot spider beside you as a little more human, it'd be less awful. You're a weapon, a
使
tool.
われるだけの道具は罪など背負えない。使う人間が罪を背
A
負う。
tool can't answer for the blood it sheds. That responsibility belongs to the man who wields it.
憎悪に値するのは俺
Hate
のみ
is
だ。
mine alone to bear.
分際を知れ。
Know your place, Tsurugi. It's an exchange we've repeated numerous times in the 2 years since our joining. Whether myself or my Tsurugi initiates it, the end result is always the same. We both fall silent, neither conceding an inch to the other. In my case, it's simply that I cannot concede. I imagine the same is true for Muramasa. In all this time, nothing has changed between us.
だが、
But...
Hmm?
The next thing I know, I've spoken a conjunction, but the clause that must follow is somehow absent from the speech centers of my brain. I close my mouth and resume walking, Muramasa following in the shadows, as always. Now, though, her silence carries a definite curiosity, and I don't blame her. If she'd been the one to break the pattern, I'd feel the same. And indeed, I can only wonder what possessed me. What was I trying to say? But surely there was something meant to come after, but what? I search my thoughts, but the words have already escaped. Now they're hidden in the dark recesses of my mind where I can neither see nor feel them, and soon they will vanish forever. I have no pressing need of them, I know, and yet I find myself following a slim thread down the labyrinthine passageways, deep, deep into the bowels of my consciousness. The thread is, in actuality, a series of images that hold no root in my memory. They came to me while I was trapped inside Aoi's illusion, scorching through my brain at the speed of thought. I assumed they too were summoned by Aoi's shinogi, though drawn from a heart that was not mine. Why Aoi's shinogi is a mental assault that turns your own memories against you? That's not quite right. That was the flashback arc, which we skipped. A nice, easy skip. You just press N and boom, you're right through it. At the time, I must have forgotten them as quickly as they came. They were alien to my experience, to my dream, after all. But now the realization of having forgotten has awakened them from wherever they hid, and I can call these memories forth as if they were my own. They're fragmented, splintered, but I scoop them up one by one and piece them together on the canvas of my heart. And there I see it. Muramasa's past. Oh boy, it's flashback time! We skip one flashback to get the flashback of Muramasa. This isn't a story of heroes, guys. No one can be a hero here. Ichijo could, sort of. And still everyone's fighting. Okay, okay. The Conqueror. A battle rages on before my eyes. On the land, great armies collide with horse and spear, while above them the sky rings with the clashing of blades as Musha meet in single combat. It's a scene out of history, medieval history if I'm not mistaken. Upon closer inspection, I quickly deduced this is not a battle of the Genpei Wars that closed at the Heian period, nor one of the skirmishes between rival daimyo that characterized the Sengoku. The predominant style of weapons Tsurugi included is one clue, but the most telling of all are the flags peppering the battlefield. Same flag for both armies, a golden sun on a field of red. There have been very few occasions in Yamato's history where such a sight could be seen.
おっと、
Oh boy, oh boy! Is Muramasa getting a sprite here? Father, of its own accord, my head turns to face the speaker. Well, she already has a portrait. Hey, that's a reused background. She's an Emishi woman, small and slender. I'm looking up at her, so I must be smaller still. Oh. It's not to me she's speaking, but to the man standing several paces before us.
流れが見えたか。
Do you see now where things are heading?
我が方の負けであろう。
Defeat for our side. Is this going to be other Muramasa?
そうさな。
Indeed.
佐々木目がまたしても得意の寝返りを打ちおった。
Indeed. That craven Sasaki has changed colors once again. His words call my attention to one corner of the battlefield where I see a contingent of foot soldiers turning their weapons on the men they were fighting beside.
どうにもならぬ。
Nothing to be done.
秋間様も支えきれぬようだ。
Lord Akima's line will not hold for long.
あの方の赤心忠義も佐々木の裏切り根性にはかなわぬか。
So even the most loyal of warriors is no match for a coward's treachery.
さようなことはない。
Nonsense, nonsense.
現に敗れている。
He's already lost, father.
一時のことだ。ウテラが報ずる吉野の主情こそ正当の帝。今今日におわすは尊き血筋ではあれど選定に過ぎぬ。
Only this battle. Our lord in Yoshino is still the rightful emperor of Yamato. The man now sitting on the chrysanthemum throne is an imposter, blood or no.
最後には正しき者が勝つ。
In
世は
victory.
そうできている。
Victory will go to the righteous in the end. This world is made to be so.
信じられぬか？
You don't believe it.
信じられぬ。
I don't.
信じねばならぬ。
But you must.
あれが信ずるは天上天下に音のみよ。
Of all that lies between heaven and earth, I trust only in you, Father, my God. That's some devotion.
音に教えられた家事の技を信じている。音
I
は
have
これから見つけ出す。
In the
剣
skills you
の
taught
極み
me,
を信じようぞ。
and in the Tsurugi you will create.
そうして
I was born to
Oto no
follow
hato
in your
no tsumi.
footsteps. And that's the
それだ
path
けが
I'll walk.
あれの天命と思うている。
Okay, respect, respect.
そうか。
Very well.
帰ろう、音。戦は終わりだ
This。battle is over. We should be gone from this place.
うん。
Yes?
終わり
It's over? A voice, not my own, issues suddenly from my body. Strange as it may seem, the sensation is familiar to me. It's something I experience whenever my Tsurugi speaks while I'm armored, only this time, the voice is much younger than I'm used to hearing.
カカ様戦終わったのもう
Battle's over, mother? No more
Yeah.
fighting? Oh, that's her mother. I see. I guessed, sister. I was mistaken. Though I'm hardly conversant with the situation, even I can tell the owner of this familiar voice has misconstrued the nuance of her mother's words.
まだだ。まだ続く。
Not yet, child, the woman replies with a shake of her head. There will be more battles, more war.
いつまで
And when will it end?
わからぬ。
No one knows.
戦はいつからしてるの
When did it start?
ナレの生まれる前からずっと
Long
だ。
before you were born.
あての生まれる前
Before I was born?
そうだ。
Yes.
カカ様はカカ様の生まれた頃は
What about when you were small, Mother?
戦
Was there
な
war?
かった？
There was.
あった。
ジジ様は
And when grandfather was small?
ジジ様の生まれた頃は戦
Was there war,
Nakata.
grandfather?
あったよ。
Aye. There was. History tells of a conflict that raged across Yamato for nearly 100 years. A terrible struggle where rivers ran crimson and towers of the dead rose to challenge the mountains. This is the Non-Bokucho War. This is the world Muramasa called home.
Otto, Akima 様がお越しだ。
Father, Lord Akima is here to see you.
おお。
Ah. The scene shifts to a rustic dwelling stacked into one corner of an Emishi village. The door slides open, admitting a tall warrior, and from his regal bearing and fine raiment, I know he is a general in the Yoshino Emperor's service, which would put his station far, far above that of a lowly Emishi. Still, the master of this house remains seated, making no move to receive the man or offer him the place of honor. The warrior, for his part, doesn't seem to take offense. They must be old
無
friends.
事で何よりだ。
It's good to see you alive.
見ていたか。
You were watching, I take it?
うん。
I was.
佐々木も大したやつよ。裏切る時と場所を決して間違えん。
You gotta hand it to Sasaki. He has a talent for picking the right moment to stab you in the back.
吉野山の方々は異界くらい気前よくくれてやるべきだった。奴の訴えを聞き流していたばかりにこのざまだ。
The court in Yoshino should have given him the rank and honors he asked for, then perhaps we could have avoided this mess? How do we know he wouldn't have just asked for even more?
よく得づくの輩などいるまい。どうせ願える男なら最初から敵に回しておいた方がマシだ。
Surely His Majesty's court has no need of such avarice. Better that men like him are sent to our enemy's camp before they turn traitor.
あれはあれで筋は通しているがな。領地を求め官位を求め、北から南、南から北へと忙しく立ち回るのも
He has his reasons.
一族を守るためだ。
He might seem greedy, running from north to south, south to north, in search of whoever will promise the most land, but it's all for the sake of his clan.
本末転倒であろう。そうならば大義を守護するために一族の力を用いるべき。
Then he's a fool. A true warrior knows he and all his house exist to serve the emperor.
一族を守るために大義を捨てて何の武人か。
And only a man with no honor would abandon his emperor for the sake of his clan? Indeed.
秋間様はたとえ一族老頭ことごとく死に絶える始末となろうが、北朝が絶えくら替えなどなさるまい。
You, Lord Akima, would never betray the South, not even if it meant the death of your line.
当然だ。
Of course not.
この伊勢の国は神宮の膝元。民が帝を崇め、逆賊を憎む気持ちはどの国よりも強い。
This land of Ise is home to the holiest of imperial shrines. No people in Yamato more faithfully worship His Majesty, nor pray more fervently for the usurper's downfall.
断じて義弟に頭は下げられぬ。
We'll never bow to the north. Indeed.
勝たねばならぬ。
Victory must be ours.
そのためにはだ。村正、主の力がいる。
Which brings us to the reason for my visit. We have need of your strength, Muramasa.
口にはされぬが、帝は待ちかねておられるようだ。楠木殿もな。
Though he does not speak of it aloud, I know His Majesty eagerly awaits its completion. Needless to say, so does Lord Kusunoki. Kusunoki?
うん。
I know.
清州桑名、千子村の梶代は、五郎政宗の再来ならん。その風評が帝のお耳に届き、剣鍛造の直が下って、
Sengo Muramasa, Master Smith of Kuwana in Seishu, hailed as the second coming of Goro Masamune. 3 years have passed since His Majesty heard of your skill and commissioned your forging.
まだできぬか。
You still need more time?
まだだ。
I do.
主の剣を楠木殿が身にまとい、南朝全軍を率いて押し出せば、北朝など一夜のうちに滅び去ろう。
Well, there you go. Granddad is Sengo Muramasa. We have the answer right in front of us, presumably. When Lord Kusunoki, clad in your mighty armor, marched at the head of his majesty's armies, the north will fall in a day,
大和の民の待ち望む平穏が
and
よ
Yamato
うや
will
く
at
訪
last
れるであ
have
ろ
the
う。
peace it so desperately needs.
撃てもそうあらねばならぬと思うておる。
I too wish it
だ
to be
からこ
so,
そ軽々しく鍛造に踏み切れぬ。
and that is why I must approach this task with due diligence.
やり直しは
There are no
期間
second
か
chances.
まだ工夫がつかぬか。
You have yet to settle on a design,
というよりも方向よ
or
な。
rather the course I should take.
方向
The course.
秋間様は思考の剣とはいかなるものだと思われる。
What would you consider the qualities of the ultimate Tsurugi?
力が強く、鋼鉄は硬く、翼は鋭く速く。
Irresistible power, impenetrable armor, unerring precision, and incomparable speed. Yes, I just want everything, of course.
できると思いか。
Do you think it possible to achieve all of those things?
いや、
No.
どれほど力量ある鍛冶師でも万能の剣は打てぬ。何かを選び、何かを捨てねばならぬ。
No smith, however great his skill, can forge an all-powerful Tsurugi. He must decide where compromises are to be made.
その選択が定まらぬのか。
And you've not yet made that decision?
うん。
Correct.
何が最善、何が至高か。か
What combination of qualities produce the ultimate Tsurugi? A conundrum. Really?
思考の剣とはな、秋間様。役目を遂げる剣に他ならぬ。
The ultimate Tsurugi, Lord Akima, is simply one that fulfills its purpose.
いかなる者の助けと
What will
な
it
り、
protect?
いかなる者を撃ち
What will
滅
it
ぼすのか。
destroy? Until you know
ま
this,
ず
the forging
それ
can't
を見
begin.
定めねば何も始まらぬ。
味方は南朝。敵は北朝であろう。
Protect the southern court, destroy the northern? What else is
よ
there?
り深く、
Deeper,
より
narrower.
細かくだ。役目が明確であればあるほど、
More
剣の
strictly
性能を
define the
特
role.
化できる。
The better it will be able to execute it. You need to go deep and narrow. Okay.
なるほどの。
Most enlightening.
働きを定めるには、まず目的を定める必要がある。要は、そういうことだ。
The Tsurugi's abilities must be molded to its purpose. Therefore, you must first determine its purpose.
それで戦場巡りか。
And that's why you've been going from battle to battle to identify that purpose?
うん
Yes.
結論は出せそうか。
Is the answer in sight?
まだかかる
Not yet, I'm
な。ま
afraid.
だ
I still
倒す
haven't
べき
found
敵の姿が見えぬ。
my enemy.
佐々木ごときでは不足だしの。
Sasuke is hardly up to the task.
そうか。わかった。主の存念はそれとなく楠木殿にお伝えしてお
Very
く。
well. I will relay what you've told me to Lord Kusunoki when I return to the court.
帝のお耳にも入ろう。お二方とも納得されるはずだ。
I imagine His Majesty will hear of it as well, but fear not. They'll understand.
すまぬ。
Forgive me.
何主とわしの仲だ。
Ah, forget it. There's no need for
水
apologies
臭い
between
言
us.
葉などいらぬ。主は心ゆくまで工夫を続けろ。その間は、わしが賊軍どもから吉野を守り通してみせる。
Take as much time as you need to find your answer. Meanwhile, I'll guard Yoshino against the usurper.
頼む。
Quite well. What purpose do you exist for, Sengo Muramasa?
どうした音？大層機嫌が悪いようだが。
What is it, father? You look so grim.
カカ？
Mother?
今日の都が奪われたそうです。
Kyoto has fallen.
何？先月、楠木様が攻め落とし、帝は8年ぶりの帰郷を果たされたばかりではないか。
Not a month has passed since Lord Kusunoki recaptured the city. His Majesty only just returned from 8 years of exile.
洛中守護を拝命せし赤松の軍勢は何をしていたのだ？
What happened to Akamatsu? Was his army not guarding the capital?
その赤松が 目が減ったのです。
Akamatsu betrayed us. He what?
あんた
北朝に売り寄ったのよ。都と帝をな。
He sold Kyoto to the north and his majesty with it.
帝が北朝の手に
Emperor was taken prisoner.
では南朝は
What will
こ
happen to
れ
the
から
court?
吉野の巫女が即位されると秋間様は言うておられた。
Lord Akima says His Highness the Prince will take the throne in Yoshino.
都のお話？
Talking about the capital.
トト様は？トト
What about
様、
father?
都でしょ？
Father's there, right?
あった
あやつが五番火事の橋に加えられる栄に良くしながら帝を捨てて逃げると思うか。
Your father was a smith in His Majesty's own armory. Do you think he would forsake the honor and flee?
カカ様。ねえ、トト様は？
Mother, what happened to father?
ババ様。トト様は？
Grandma? Is father coming home?
ジジ様。
Grandfather? Dun dun dun.
この村も久方ぶりだ。
Ah, here we go, a village. It's been some time since I last came to this village.
うん。
Indeed.
秋間様、ようこそいらっしゃいました。
Welcome to our humble home, Lord Akima.
おお、見違えたわ。エミシはまったく瞬きの間に大きくなるな。
How quickly Amishi grow. Is this our Muramasa? I mean, looking good. Suddenly looking good,
ど
alright.
ちらが村正の娘でどちらが孫だったかうっかりしていると間違えそうじゃ。
I might think that you were the old Muramasa's daughter.
それは言い過ぎだこやつはまだまだ子供
You jest, my lord, but she's but a child still. A child? I see. And you're the adult, her mother? Alright.
家事の技もようやく基礎ができてきたかどうかというところだ
Put her before a forge and you'll see she's only learned the basics of smithcraft.
でも、背はカカ様より少し
But
高い。
I am a little taller than you, mother.
長いこと各地を転戦していたそうだな。
We've heard tales of your exploits, Lord Akima. The war has taken you far and wide.
うん。買いあって赤松目の裏切りからの体制をようやく半分ばかりは挽回できたわ。
So it has. And thanks to the efforts of my men, we've finally regained most of the momentum that Akamatsu's betrayal cost
予
us.
習の身で世を去らねばならなかった選定のご無念。いささかは晴らせたかのう。
I can only hope His Majesty will look down from heaven and feel himself avenged. And of course, that goes for your late husband as well.
してそちらの御人は
And who might this be?
おう。この方は鞍馬山の学僧での。
Oh, well, this fellow? He's just a monk from the temple on Mount Kurama.
ウラムと申します。どうかよしなに。
Any monk just introduced as a random ass monk who isn't like super sus is sus. This guy's sus. Yup. Uramu's my name. I'm much honored to make your acquaintance.
非常に深い学識をお持ちでな。長らく南朝の影の相談役のようなことをしてくださっていた。
He's a scholar of tremendous learning. The court has long used him as an unofficial advisor.
おう
I see.
わしも幾度となく世話になったものよ。先日も相談事を持ちかけたのだが、その折にふと主のことを話してみたところ、
Alright, let's listen. What's this guy got to say? I too have oft partaken of his knowledge, but when I went to him for guidance the other day, I happened to speak of you.
思考の剣を求めておいでと伺いました。それはとても興味深い命題です。
Interesting way to speak. My lord tells you Do you seek to forge the ultimate Tsurugi? This is a topic of great interest to me.
ぜひ私に協力させてください。
It seems like he doesn't speak fluent Japanese. I'd very much like to assist you in this endeavor.
とこう言われる。
And, well, here we are.
協力火事の心得でも終わりか。
Have you knowledge of Tsurugi smithing?
いいえ、火事の技は知りません。しかし私、広い、とても広い世界を巡ってきました。
No, I do not. But I've traveled far and wide to lands beyond even the furthest sea.
いろいろな学問を知
I've
って
learned
い
much in
ま
my
す。
travels and seen many
剣
Tsurugi.
もたくさん見てきました。
どうだ。その分ではまだ剣の工夫がついておらんのだろう。
Well, looks like you still haven't found the answer you were looking for.
ものの試しにウラム殿の知恵を拝借してみても
You
損
might
はあるまい。
Borrow some of Uramu's vast knowledge. Well,
そう言われるならあえて断る理由も
I
ない。
have no reason to refuse such a strong recommendation.
見ての通り貧しい村。今日の暮らしに慣れた方にはさぞ不自由が多かろうと存ずるが。
As you can see, this
そ
is
れ
a
で
small
も
village.
よろしいか。
We can only offer meager accommodations, a far cry from the splendor you're used to in the capital.
構いません。
Oh, that's fine, thanks.
ありがとうございます。村正殿。どうかよろしく。
May our relationship be long and fruitful. Well, that old man looks like he's 90, and Muramasa will only live to what, be like 40?
村正殿は計算が
And he's
得
planning on
意
turning
で
himself
す
into a
か？
Tsurugi. But, okay. You have knowledge of numbers, Sir Muramasa.
いいなこと。計算が増えて
Of
て
course.
剣鍛冶など務まろうか。
What sort of Tsurugi could I hope to forge otherwise?
ではお答えください。62万5592に
Nope.
7万8421を加え
I don't want to do that
15
in my
万
head.
6059を引きそれから3倍するといくつになります？
Well, if you'd indulge me, take 625,592, add 78,421, subtract 156,059, and multiply by 3. What do you have?
またれ。今算義を。
Oh, don't need my counting rods for this.
算義を使っても答えを出すのには時間が少しかかるでしょう。
Even with counting rods, I imagine it'll take you some time.
少しな。
Some.
これを使
These might
って
help.
みてください。
Symbols?
Oreo?
What do they mean?
何かの記号に見えるが。
天軸の数字です。
These are numerals used in India, which you know is tenjiku.
数字
Numerals,
こ
these.
れが。
はい。これが1、これが2、これが3となります。
This is 1, this is 2, this 3, and so on.
では、この丸い記号は10か。
So this round symbol must be 10? Nah, it's 0, fam.
いいえ、違います。それは0です。
No, Muramasa. That's a 0.
ゼロ
0?
ないということを示します。空白を表す数字が0です。
It means none. 0 is the symbol for emptiness.
ないものをどうして数字で表さねばならない。
But why would you need to count what doesn't exist? Not knowing about 0 makes it really hard to do math.
どうした？
What's gotten into you?
いや、どうしたではないわと。
Don't you see a
これは
fun?
とてつもない発見だぞ。
It's incredible.
何？
What?
ウラム殿、この数字で10を表すと、もしやこうなるのか？
Is this how you would write 10 with these symbols?
はい。1と0を並べます。縦ではなく、横に並べるのが正しいやり方ですが。
Yes. A 1 followed by a 0. Very good. Though the proper way is to write them across, not vertically.
おっと、見ろ。この数字を使ってさっきの計算をすると、
Look, if you use these symbols to do the calculations, it should take considerably less time.
164万3862
Yep.
瞬く間だ
1,643,862 done in the blink of an eye. I would not want to use an abacus or counting rods for that. That would be a real pain. That would be a real pain to do math with. Holy shit.
どうですか天軸の数字を使うと計算がしやすくなるでしょう
Do you see how Indian numerals make arithmetic far simpler to perform? He's also calling them Indian instead of Arabic because that's probably where he learned them.
10、100、1000といった数字をなくし
i.e. he didn't go all the way to like Baghdad.
これに0を加えた10個の数字であらゆる数を表す
Instead of using individual characters to represent hundreds, thousands, 10,000, and so on, you use 10 symbols to represent the whole range of numbers? Yep.
ただこれだけの工夫で計算の手間が核も減るのか
Will only take but seconds?
実はこの数字と計算法はもっと古くからヤマトに伝わっていたのです
It may
少
surprise
し
you to learn
形は変えてはいま
these
したが
numerals and the method of their use came to Yamato centuries ago, though in a slightly different form.
けれどほとんどの人は価値を理解できませんでした
At the time, however, very
理
few
解
were able to
でき
grasp
た
their worth.
人は独占して隠してしまいました
And of course, those who could kept the knowledge for themselves.
だから広まっていないのです
That's why you hadn't heard of them before now. Thanks, assholes.
うーん
I see.
せっかく海を越えて伝わったのに埋もれてしまった知識他にもたくさんあります
There's
も
much
ちろん
learning that crossed the ocean,
全く未知の
only
知
to be
識も
forgotten. And even more that hasn't yet reached this land.
ウラム殿はそれをご存知なのか
はい
I do.
教えてくれいやお願いする
Though
教
maybe this
え
guy
て
didn't
い
spend a
た
lot
だ
of...
きたい
It sounds like this guy didn't spend a lot of time in Japan. His dialogue is very formal and very purposeful, like he has to think about his words. And he also does not use a lot of colorful language. It's like really basic Japanese. Teach it to me, please, I beg you.
どうか
I must know more.
頭を下げないでください教えま
The
す
accent also gives it
私
away.
はそのために来たのです
I assume it's someone who speaks fluent Japanese who's intentionally spacing their wording out and speaking with an unusual accent. Please lift your head, sir. It's why I'm here.
村正殿に私の知識をすべて差し上げるために
Yes, it's like a Japanese person trying an English accent in Japanese. It's something like that. To pass you all the knowledge I possess. That's why I'm here.
村正殿あなたが思考の剣を求めるなら三つの力につい
If you
て
intend to forge
知
the
らなく
greatest
て
three
は
the world
な
has
りま
known,
せん
you'll need to understand the three fundamental forces. What are those gonna be?
3つの力
What's it gonna be? Like magnetism, gravity, strong nuclear force? They're missing weak nuclear
こ
force.
の宇宙の根源的な力です
Ah, it is nuclear force.
私はこれを磁気、神気、早気と呼びます
The forces that govern all things in the universe, I call them magnetism, gravity, and the nuclear force.
磁気というのは磁石の
Does magnetism have something to do with magnetite?
はい磁石が引き合い反発し合う力のことです
Yeah, I believe they did separate strong and weak nuclear forces into separate component forces, or into like the two forces at a later date, right? That does make sense. Indeed, it does. Is the force that makes stones such as magnetite attract or repel one another.
あと2つはわかりますか
Can you guess what the other two are?
いや
No.
新規とはあらゆる物体に備わるものです。他
Gravity is
の
present in
物
all
体
things
を
in
引
nature.
き寄せる力です。
It's the force that draws objects towards one another.
今、私は石を拾いました。
Take this stone in my hand. If I let
手
go of
を
it,
石は地
It falls to
面
the
に
ground.
落ちます。これが新規です。
this is gravity.
つまり物が落ちるのは大地の神気が引き寄せているからだ。
So things fall because the ground is pulling them towards it. Ginsago suddenly very interested. Uh-oh.
そうです。
Correct, you're always
あな
so
た
quick to
は
understand.
いつも理解がお早い。
では
And
早
the
期と
nuclear force?
基礎を結び合わせ、物体を作り上げている力のことです。
It's what binds the elements together to form matter.
基礎
Elements?
物体をひたすら細かく砕いていったとき、最後に残るもの。もうこれ以上は砕けないものを基礎と呼びます。
If you break something down to smaller and smaller pieces, eventually you reach the smallest pieces, which cannot be further divided. They're the elements. Pretty standard learning for someone who doesn't have an electron microscope. This, when we're elementary particles discovered smaller than those. I don't actually know when that was. That would probably be like 1800s Europe or US, right? These are the elements? Okay.
万物の素材です。これを足したように組み合わせて、草花や鉱物や昆虫や私たちを生み出す力が早期です。
They're the building blocks of nature. Depending on how you arrange them, you can create anything from rocks and minerals to plants and animals. Even we humans are formed from the elements. The nuclear force is what makes this possible.
それは神仏の御業のことか。
In other words, the power of the gods.
そう言っても
If
構
you'd
いません。
like.
早期それに時期新期
Nuclear force, magnetism, and gravity.
無理に理解しようとしないでください。焦ること、急ぐことは頭脳の働きを妨げます。
Identifying the components of atoms, including protons, neutrons, and electrons, is still pretty hard, right? And going lower, down to quarks, is even harder. Don't try to understand everything at once. Impatience impedes the workings of the mind.
学問に近道はありません。ゆっくり学んでいきましょう。
A wise man said there's no quick path to learning. Let's take our time, shall we? We'll take our sweet time. Yeah, they were discovered in the
前
early
からお
20th
尋
century.
ねしたかったのだが
I've been meaning to ask you this for some time now.
はい。
Yeah?
ウラム殿は何故剣に興味を持た
Why do
れ
you have such an interest in Tsurugi?
不思議ですか？
Is it so strange?
神羅万象を極めたお方がどうして武具などにこだわられるのか今一つ特進がゆかぬ
I can't imagine why a man such as you, a man privy to the secrets of creation itself, would find such worth in mere weapons of war. Because it seems like they're made via magic.
褒めてくださること光栄です。けれど私はまだ何も知りません。
Your words do me great honor, but I'm afraid I yet know nothing.
まさか
You jest.
いいえ、本当に何も知らないのです。
Not at all,
私
truly.
が本当に知りたいことはまだ
Nothing
は
of
る
what I
か
most
遠く
deeply
に
desire
あ
to
り
know.
ます。
The answer still lies far beyond my reach.
ウラム殿の知識をもってしてもはるか
Even
遠
with all you've learned.
海に落とした一粒の砂金を探している心地です。
Yes, like scouring the depths of the ocean for a single grain of sand.
想像もつか
He's
ぬ
so elusive. Countless things.
アガペ、
God's love. Agape? Okay.
どこにあるかわかりません。どんな形をしているのかも。
I know not where it can be found nor what form it will take.
しかし、私は信じているのです。剣は人間に与えられし
But I
翼。
have faith in this, that God
天
granted
へ
man
至る
Tsurugi
た
for a
だ
reason.
一つの方法。
They are wings that when realized to their fullest potential,
これを極めた先に
it will surely
求
carry
める
us to
も
the
の
highest
は
heaven.
あると。村正殿、あなたに巡り合ったのは天命でした。
It was fate that led me
私
to
は
you.
あなたに会うために
You
こ
are
の
the reason
東の果ての国までやってきたのです。
to come to this land.
どうか私を導いてください。黄金の夜明け。
The golden dawn awaits. Wait a minute. Wasn't Golden Dawn the last plan, the plan in the previous mission? Interesting how we have the Golden Dawn plan all the way as far back as here. And we had reference to the forces that Chachamaru was going to lead before she died in the first arc. Very interesting. Looks like we got a centuries-old conspiracy here. Okay. I'm not missing out on the obvious name drop.
おっと、もういかぬ。敵兵の数は100や200ではない。
It isn't as if Japan are the only crux and Tsurugi's like the dwarves. Maybe they got the dwarf. Possible. It's possible he's a dwarf and already knows about Tsurugi's myth, and he's just looking for someone else to work with, someone who has a better philosophy. There is also some research indicating that like Eastern Asia might be the source of in the previous arc, that it was the source of like the semi-magic water that lets you forge Tsurugis, which is why Tsurugis can't be forged in North and South America. So the only places that don't have it are is the New World. Who knows if Australia gets it? They might get shafted too. There's nothing more we can do, Father. The enemy's thousands
こ
strong.
のままでは皆殺しぞ。
If we stay, we'll perish.
おのれ。
カカ様、怪我。
Father, you're hurt?
構うでない。流れ矢がかすめただけだ。
A scratch from a stray arrow won't kill me.
母より自分の心配をせよ。焼けて崩れた家の下敷きにでもなろうものなら
You
助
get
からぬ
trapped
ぞ。
under a house, that's the end of you?
とにかく今は引こう。裏里まで逃れれば奴らも追ってこられぬ。
Father, we must be gone from this place. Once we reach the hidden village, the enemy will have to turn back.
おっと
Father?
なぜだ。北朝の軍がここまで攻め入ってくるなどありえんことだ。
Did this happen? We were supposed to be safe from the north.
こんなはずでは。
長島を越えない限り北朝はここまで来らない。
I
です
assume any
が
invading army would have to pass through Nagashima first.
ウラム殿。
Urama.
では長島は落ちたのでしょ
Then Nagashima must have fallen. You took too long to get that power armor out.
バカな。今長島を預かるのは他ならず秋間様ぞ。
Possible. Nagashima's guarded by Lord Akima himself.
あの方ならたとえ万の大軍を敵としても数日は持ちこたえるはず。
He could have been betrayed or poisoned. A general of his caliber could hold that pass for days, even against an army 100,000 strong.
う。戦えばそうでしょう。けれど戦わなければどうで
Yes,
す
if he
か
indeed defended his castle. But what if he did not? Oh yeah, it's true. He could also have betrayed. I was guessing he got betrayed, but it's possible he's the one doing the betraying.
No.
What?
秋間殿が北朝の軍勢を素通しにしたなら
If Lord Akima let the enemy pass unhindered,
たわけたことを申すな。
can you say such a thing?
確かに統制武人といえばドイツもだるまよ。あっちへ転がりこっちへ転がり風向き次第で騎士を変えよる。
Yes, many in this age sell their swords cheaply, changing their allegiance as a snake changes its
だ
skin.
が秋葉様は違う。
Lord
あの
Akima's
方は
different. Well, the way this guy's speaking, my first thought is that he's probably wrong because he's coping hard. He would
あの
never.
方だけは
Muramasa との
Muramasa,
おと
father.
今
Now's
は
not the
考
time
え
for
ない
this. You're making a lot of noise when you're supposed to be sneaking out of a village that's being raided.
今は逃げねばならぬ。忘れたか。オトはヤマト一の剣を撃てと先の帝より直を賜った身。
We must flee, or have you forgotten your duty? You were commissioned by the Emperor himself to forge the mightiest Tsurugi in Yamato.
ここで命を危うくしてはならぬ。
Your life's not yours to risk here,
父様
grandfather. Alright, alright. What's he gonna make?
生き残りはこ
This
れ
is
ば
all
か
he
りか。
survived?
カカ様ババ様が
Mother,
い
I
ない
can't find grandmother?
いないの
Can't find her anywhere?
いないのなら
And she didn't
おら
make
ぬ
it.
のであろうよ。
そんな
泣くのならどこかに隠れて一人で
Cry
泣
if you
け。
must, but not here.
音の前では
Not where father can see you.
父様
Well,
なぜだ
can't be.
なぜあの方が
Why would Lord Akima
秋
betray
葉
his
様
emperor?
が裏切りなど間違いではないのか。
Certain it was him.
長島から逃れてきた者がそう言うのだ。事実であろう
The
よ。
refugees from Nagashima all say he let the enemy through. There can be no doubt.
おほは
Well, there you go. His copium at last
な
found.
んたるなんたる
Perfidy. What perfidy? Perfidy, sorry, not perfidy. Perfidy.
フラム殿
はい。
撃ては見誤ったのであろうか。
Did I trust too easily?
秋間殿はとても良い方でした。吉野には私を怪しげなまじない師だと言って
Lord
意
Akima is a
味
fine man.
嫌う人も多かったのですが、
Many in Yoshino shunned me,
秋
calling me
間
trickster and
殿は
magician.
いつも
But he always took my
私をかばってくれました。
That guy talks so slowly. Then
な
why?
ら
良い人に不義を強いる、そういう時代があります。
In some ages, even the best men fall prey to fear and temptation.
今がそうです。
This is one such age.
今は悪しき世なので
The
す。
world itself has gone dark.
音、今戻った。
Well, we know Ginsego's gravity, right? And Muramasa's magnetism, so is their grandfather supposed to be nuclear force? We haven't seen him, and we don't know what happens to him, but presumably that would be the case, right? Unless neither of them gets how the nuclear force work, or can't work it into their Tsurugi, so they just say fuck it and do magnetism gravity instead. I've returned from the capital, father. And?
吉野の方々には時間をかけねば良いものはできんの一点張りで通しておいた。
I explained to the lords that Tsurugi is not something to be
かなり
forged with
立腹
haste.
していたぞ。
They were not pleased. Things are going downhill for them.
無理はない。剣作りの勅命を受けてよりすでに14年が経つ。
More than 10 years have passed since you received the Emperor's commission.
さすがに我慢の限度であろう。村正は肉を捨てることに臆しておるのか。
To reach the limit of their patience. Some are even saying you must be afraid to abandon your flesh.
身を鉄に変え剣となるは恵美師として生を受けし者の本望。これを厭うなどありえぬことと時
I
伏せ
tried
て
to
はき
impress
た。
upon them and know Amishi would forsake the sacred duty for which we're born, but I fear I was not successful.
おと、なぜ鍛造せぬ。
Why do you not begin the forging?
まだ工夫がつかぬというのか。 しかし
You still not decided?
もはやウラム殿も
What course are you gonna take? Sir Aramu has nothing left to teach. Oh, good evening, my friend.
はい。私の知る限りの知識、村正殿にお授けしました。
Indeed, I've imparted to you all the knowledge I possess.
こう申されてい
What
る。
more do you need, father?
見えぬ。
I can't see it.
見えんのだ。思考の剣の姿が依然見えぬ。
The ultimate Tsurugi remains hidden behind a veil of mist.
いや、前よりもわからぬようにな。
なぜ
If anything, the veil is even thicker than before. But why?
何のための
What
剣
purpose will I
か。
forge my Tsurugi?
何を信じて撃てばよいのか。
What duty will I hammer into my Shingane?
正しき帝のため逆賊を撃つ剣を御大将楠木様に捧げる。それではいかぬのか。
Your Tsurugi will be wielded by Lord Kusunoki, general of the Southern Army, is to destroy all who deny the rightful emperor's throne. Is that not enough?
その楠木様が寝返ったらいかがする。
And what if Lord Kusunoki turns traitor?
何をバカな。楠木は6代にわたって南朝へ忠義を尽くしてきたお家ではないか。
The Kusunoki clan has served Yoshino for 6 generations.
天地が逆さに帰ろうと帝を裏切るなど。
He'll never betray his majesty, not even if heaven itself takes the usurper's side.
でもそう思うておる。
I know that as well as you.
ならば
Then, you're guessing from the conflict between the North and South courts? Is Nambokucho close to the 14th century of Muramachi? But Muramasa's from Sengoku in the late 15th century? Maybe. They fudged some numbers. Muramasa was born early because he's an Emishi. And Emishi in this setting die when they're 40. I think it's like super old is like 40 for an Emishi, right? So, I guess if they live less long than Muramasa's born earlier, who knows? I'm just making shit up.
しかし、同じほど信じていた秋間様が、今は北の義弟に神戸を垂れておる。
And now he sits at the usurper's feet.
わからぬ。
What am I to do?
撃てには。
What am I to do? So many traitors, so little time.
襲撃だとバカな。
We're under attack? Impossible! The reign of Nobu? There's no Nobu. There's 2 emperors in this time.
この裏里のありかは吉野にも教えておらぬ。
No one knows
秋
the
間
location
様
of
も
this
知
village.
らぬ。
Not the lords in Yoshino, not even Lord Akima.
どこからも漏れていないはず
No
だ。
secret was more closely guarded. How did they find
どう
us?
して敵が。
Father?
なぜ。
How can this be?
あれを見
Look, over there.
あの人頭の
The
虫
Musha leading the enemy advance.
わかるであ
You
ろう。
see what I see, don't you?
あれらの目には見える。
Can't help it, our eyes were
見え
made
て
to
しま
see.
うわ。
It's like less armored Muramasa. Alright.
あの剣がいかなるものか。
What's that
い
Tsurugi's
かな
lineage
る
in
由
its
来を
name?
持つか。
They're clear as day.
し
I don't believe it, I won't. Is it like your own
信じ
father?
たくは
Your
な
own
い。
father led him here? No.
嘘。
Ah, his
妻よ
grandmother.
なれまでもが裏切ったのか。
My wife, have you even you betrayed me?
敵の手に落ち屈辱して生き延び甘っさい我が身を剣に鍛えて捧げたの
You would
か。
swear fealty to the enemy in exchange for your life? You'd even forge a Tsurugi to be wielded against your kid? I mean, she's dead. So I don't even know what she's aiming for.
なったるよか。この世にはもはや何一つ
What villainy does this age inspire? I have nothing left.
何一つ信じるに値するものが
Nothing
ない
deleted. Loyalty, brotherhood, blood, all
血
meaningless.
族の絆さえ。はあ。あ
Father?
ダメです。
No.
ムラム殿。
Kurama?
命捨てては
You
いけ
mustn't
ま
throw
せ
your
ん。
life away. You still have work to do.
あなたにはすることあります。
いかず。
We have to get you
手
to a
当て
healer.
を。
大丈夫。私、こ
Fine.
の程度の傷
I
で
won't
は
die
死
from
に
a
ま
scratch
せん。
like this.
そういう体なのです。
Body won't let me. Urame sounds like he has something in his nose. Maybe.
あと、恨む殿。
The Urame?
父様。
Grandfather?
撃てはいい。恨む殿の怪我を。
Forget about me. See to Urame?
村正殿、あなたは二人を連れ
Muramasa.
て
Take your
逃
daughters
げ
and go
てくだ
quickly.
さい。ここは私が何とかします。
I'll hold the enemy here.
何を言われる。
What are you saying?
武者に勝つことはできませんが、時間を稼ぐくらいならなんとかなります。
I may not be able to defeat a Musha, but I can buy you time to escape.
さあ、早
Now
く
go. Alright.
早く。
Father! I
で
can't.
きぬ。撃ては卑怯者になりとうない。
I will not succumb to cowardice.
村正殿、
Muramasa.
何これは武者の矢。
That was a Musha's arrow, but where did it come from? Over there.
あとあれだ。
Over there, that's the ruby.
次は
あ
Yes.
あ、秋間様だ
Lord Akima.
な。
ママ様。
Grandmother.
新金の軸を一矢で射抜くか。
One shot,
少
right
年
through
は
the
腐り
Shingane.
果てても腕は昔のままのようだな、
Seems
秋間様。
cowardice hasn't dulled your skill at all.
あ
Indeed.
あなたはこの武者のご詰めとして来たのではないの
Were you
か。
not sent to support this attack on our village?
そうだ。
I was.
寝返りか。
Such treachery.
情勢がまた変わったのでな。佐々木が丹波の国衆を連れて吉野に転んだ。
The tides of war being fickle as they are, Sasaki
今
has
後機
changed
内で
sides
は
once more.
南朝が盛り返す。
He brought all of Tanba province with him. Now the south will have the advantage in Kinai.
こやつの首を手土産に南朝へ帰参を願うことにした。
So I decided to take this fellow's head to Yoshino as a token of my renewed fealty.
味抜か秋間。
You know shame, Akima?
誰の忠義はそんなにも安いのか。そ
Is that
こ
all your
まで
loyalty's worth?
くだらぬ男だったのか。
Were you always so craven?
忠義か。
Loyalty.
あの時まではわしも己を中心だと信じておった。不運拙く敗れしすことはあろうと敵に屈して生きながらえはすまい。
Up until that final moment, I too thought my loyalty unshakable. I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that the enemy might take my head, but they'd never have my
だ
sword.
があの時北朝の大軍が長島に迫り囲まれたが最後
When I saw the northern army marching
一
on
門全
Nagashima,
滅は避け
when I
られな
realized
い
that
と悟
once
っ
they
た説
surround us, we'd be slaughtered like cattle.
ふっと霜が溶けるように忠義なる者の値打ちがわからなくなってしもうた。
It was like a mist lifted from my eyes. Suddenly, my honor didn't seem worth the lives of my
その
clan.
ために投げ打ってすまぬな。わし
Sorry,
の忠
Muramasa.
義とはその程度。
I'm
まが
but
いもの
another
でしかなかっ
selfish,
たようだ。
faithless coward, not the sort of man you thought me to be. So you can see why what this scene's doing, right? It's like shaping the Muramasa's opinions on people and loyalty. So Muramasa wants a good person's life because they're probably going to betray you at some point anyway, so you may as well kill them early. That might be the reasoning. And then, of course, Muramasa's mom, Ginsego, just says, fuck everybody, they're all assholes. Because presumably when your own mother tries to murder you, when your own mother decides to murder you in exchange for what? I don't fucking know, because she's fucking dead. I guess when she tried, yeah, don't know. We don't know because we don't have it, but I'd probably say, yeah. I'd be like far less trusting of people if it's like, yes, our best friend turned traitor, my mom turned traitor and tried to kill me. Who knows who else is gonna turn traitor on me? Like, why would? I guess the only thing that matters is being the strongest. Therefore, kill everyone. You know what? I can see Ginsego's perspective, kind of. I can see the perspective of both these characters. They seemed a lot more loopy in the previous arcs, but hey, this backstory's not so bad. I mean, I can get behind where their perspective's coming from. They have a better explanation of it in this one than they did in the first arc, where it's kind of just like randomly murder. In this situation, if this is your life, you know, maybe you just say, hey, just kill people who aren't you because they're inevitably going to try and murder you. I can get behind that philosophy. Like, don't kill someone close to you every time you kill someone bad, because eventually the person close to you is going to stab you in the back anyway. Like, okay. That makes perfect sense if you don't trust people. Traitors. Traitors.
わしのことはよい。だが村正、
Hate me if you will, but forgive your wife at
妻君
least.
のことは憎んでやるな。仕方がなかったのだ。
He had no choice.
何がないという。敵の支柱に落ちたなら自害して果てろとまではあえて言うまい。
No choice.
だ
I
が
could have
一本の説議は通して当然。
forgiven her for not taking her own life, but this is going too far.
剣を鍛えて献上する者がおろうか。こやつなどもはや妻でもなければ一族とも思わぬわ。
What sort of ignoble wretch forges a tsurugi for the enemy? The woman's no longer my wife. I'll strike her name from the clan record. This man's more tilted that she turned traitor than that she tried to kill him after he did nothing wrong. I'd be like, bitch, get the fuck out of my life. I don't even want to remember you if you're gonna forge yourself into a super weapon and try to murder me. Fuck. You ain't my girlfriend, man.
Muramasa.
Muramasa, after your wife was
主の
taken
妻は
prisoner?
な、北朝に囚われた後、別のエミシと目合わされ、
She was given in marriage to another Enishi and forced to bear a child.
そしてその子を盾に取られた。この命が欲しくば、剣を撃て。と
The
な。
child was taken hostage against her, and she was told if she valued its life, she'd forge a tsurugi to serve the north.
目の前の子か、遠くの家族か。悩んだ末、主の妻は我が身を鉄としたのだ。
Her newborn babe still warm in her arms, or a distant family, fate unknown, she suffered long with the decision, but in the end she chose to commit her flesh to the hammer.
恨
you
む
hate
ま
her?
いぞ。
I can hate her, because she was literally 2 seconds away from killing me before she killed one of my friends who was right beside me as he took the sword meant for me. I'd be like, bitch, you literally tried to kill me. Get fucked. It's like...
Muramasa dono.
Muramasa. Oh, this guy's still not dead. I'm surprised. Like at that point, you're not even like saving one life for another life. You're killing like, are you gonna forgive her if she cuts down her other children to save this new kid? Like, okay, good, your new rape baby, congratulations. You're gonna value it you're gonna value like that over the rest of your family right then and there? No chance. No chance. Kuramu, you should be resting.
傷に触る。もう
And I say no
休まれ
chance
よ。
because we know for a fact that Muramasa can force you to do whatever the fuck she wants to. Right? Kageaki does not want to kill anyone, but Muramasa can mind control him into killing people. On command. Right? And even with a delay, as long as she feels like, for example, in the first chapter, where we fight the evil guy, we make sure the kids are alright, we get some to the hospital, we wait for some to go to the hospital, we wait for, what's his face? Our old main character, Yuhi, to get home, and then the next day we fucking murder him. Like, that night, or like the night after, we fucking murder him. Like, it's not like instantly have to kill someone, she just triggers it whenever the fuck she feels like, so... If you can seize control of your pilot's armor and you're just like, yeah, I'll just go cut down, checks notes, my husband and whole family. Yeah, you aren't trying to escape. And, we aren't friends anymore. We are not friends anymore. Ramu, you should be resting. Yeah, it's surprising. He's an old man. I'm surprised he isn't resting.
私は平気です。
I'm fine.
村正殿こそ
It's you who
お
should rest.
体を大事に。お酒の飲みすぎ。体の毒です。
Too much sake will damage your health.
北朝が憎いですか
Do you hate the North?
憎い。
Aye.
なんという卑劣な。
They're scum, vile inhuman scum, the lot of them. Are they now?
許せぬ。
They should all be put to the sword.
けれど
But the South is no
南
different.
朝も同じです。
How is the South different?
No.
What are you saying? I mean, what is the purpose you serve the Emperor? You have your loyalty, but why is your Emperor the right one? His voice has a very strange rhythm. Yeah, I don't think the guy's supposed to be a native Japanese speaker, but it's being voiced by a Japanese speaker. Like the old man.
同じくらい汚いことたくさんしてます。
He's pronouncing
Yeah.
all of his words.
もっと
He's
卑
pronouncing all
怯
the
な
words,
こ
but
と
like
も
very strangely. Yeah, he's a foreign scholar. They actually did a good job with that. He doesn't sound like he's speaking normal Japanese. He's obviously speaking the right words, you can hear them, but he speaks with a very unusual cadence, like he has to think out his words, or like he has an accent. The Southern Court has done many things just as vile and just as inhuman, if not more so.
バカな。
Nonsense.
本当です。私、南朝の影の働きに関わること多かったので、よく知っています。
I spent many years as a secret advisor to Yoshino. I saw what went on behind closed doors.
貧乏の犠牲になった人、とても多いです。
Many people fell prey to the court's machinations.
何の罪もない無力な民たちでした。
Most were peasants who committed no sin.
まさかありえぬ。クスノキ様たちがそのような真似をなさるはずが。
Lord Kusunoki would never condone such villainy.
吉野の方々、悪い人ではありません。
The lords of
Minna.
Yoshino are not evil men.
立派な方たちです。
They're all warriors worthy of respect.
けれど、前にも言いまし
As
た。
I said, the world is to
今は
blame.
時代が悪いのです。良き人々が悪しきことをするようなのです。
This is an age where good men are driven to evil means.
では、撃てはどうすればいいのだ。誰が味方なの
Who's
か
my
わ
enemy?
か
Who do
ら
I
ん。
serve?
誰が敵なのかもわからん。何が正しいのかわからん。何が誤りなのかもわからん。何を信じればいいのかわか
Can
ら
I
ん。
believe it?
村正殿、
Muramasa.
撃ては何のために剣を
What purpose?
撃つのだ。
Do I forge my Tsurugi for?
悪しき世を正すため。そうではないですか?
Ramu means grudge. Interesting. To return this world to its rightful shape, no?
その道筋がわからんのだ。南朝の大義さえ信じられぬとあっては。
Ah, he serves Golden Dawn. And Golden Dawn was in favor of Kinsego, right? How to return this world to its rightful shape. No human left alive. That's how we're getting here. That's what I can't see if even Yoshina's virtue is in question then. Everyone's virtue is in question. Nobody can be trusted.
Muramasa 殿。今からする話を
Muramasa, please listen well to what I'm
よ
about
く
to
聞い
say.
てください。あなたにお教えしなくてはならないこと。
One
実
thing
は
remains.
あと一つ残っていました。
One final thing I must teach you. It's now in time to impart my final knowledge.
これからお話しします。私の本当の名前
My
ニコ
name
ラ・フラメルい
is
ます。
Nicholas Flamel. Interesting. A quick Google search tells me he's French. So yes, he had... Wait. Is he the guy who invented the Philosopher's Stone? Alright, Flamel is French. That one's easy. And a Google search tells me that, yes, this guy is the guy who is believed to have created and discovered the Philosopher's Stone, and to have achieved immortality. So yeah, he's an alchemist. He was an alchemist. And a scholar. Makes sense. Yeah, Nicholas Flamel. Alright. Big stuff. Yeah, he's booking it out of Full Metal Alchemist to go say hi here. Alright, Nicholas Flamel.
Nico.
Now, no wonder they can't find the guy who made the Philosopher's Stone. He's in a different setting. He's in Japan.
呼びにくいでしょ。恨むで構いません。
Hard to pronounce, isn't it? Uramu will do.
私の生まれた国とこの山椒は言葉が全く違うのです。
The language of my homeland is nothing like that of Yamato.
遠く
It is, after all, far,
離れ
far
てい
from
ま
here.
すから。
ウラム殿は天竺のお人だったの
You
か。
come from Tenjiku? Further.
いや、天竺の
No.
さ
From a
ら
land
にずっ
beyond
と
even
向こう
Tenjiku.
です。
西方浄土より参られたと。
From the far western paradise? Close enough. By the way, Flamel's born in 1330. Normally. Dies in, 1418, believed? So, that's where we are. Just a casual, almost 10,000 kilometers away. Nice. Yeah, the far western paradise?
そうですね。西の果ての国です。けれど、
Far
浄
to the
土
west
で
it
はあり
is.
ません。
But not a paradise.
私の生まれた国、戦争ばかりでした。
The country I
今
call
の
home
ヤマトと同じです。
was rife with war, just as Yamato is today.
だから私は平和な楽園を求めて
And so,
旅に
I
出ま
set
し
out
た。
on a journey to find a land of everlasting peace.
でも、そんな国、どこにもありませんでした。どの国も短い平和と長い争いを繰り返していました。
Alas, no such paradise existed. Wherever my travels took me, the only peace I found was in those brief intervals of silence between long periods of war. Interesting. Yeah, we know what time period we're in now. Thanks to them keying us with Nicholas Flamel, and we have a birth date for him. Real handy.
私は平和な世界を探してさまようより、世界を平和にする方法を求めるべきだと 考えるようになりました。
I realized then if I desired a peaceful
そうし
world,
て
I'd have to create it
あ
myself.
なたに出会っ
And
た
that's
の
when I
で
met
す。
you. Alright, the creator of the Philosopher's Stone meeting Muramasa. We gotta see some legendary shit come out of this.
ウテは一介の鍛冶師。しかも今は
But a
道
humble
を
smith.
見失っている。
One who's lost sight of his way
恨む殿の力にはない。
can't help you.
いや、そんなあなたじゃなくてはいけません。
You're the only one who can.
剣こそ神の子。奇跡のかけらを宿す性
Tsurugi are the
別の
children
も
of
の
God,
です。
sacred vessels of his miraculous power.
最も高き剣の生誕が人の現在を注ぐ。神は万民を許し、地を楽園にするでしょう。
I guess he's not going for the Philosopher's Stone in this timeline. When the purest, noblest Tsurugi is born, then mankind will be forgiven its original sin. The Lord will shower his blessings upon us, and there will be peace on earth at last. Little bit crazy.
そう。正しき心を持つ鍛冶師が真理を求めて杖を振るとき、苦しみの時代は
One
終わ
possessed
りを
of
告
clear
げるに
sight,
違いないので
wielding
す。
their hammer in service of truth can bring an end to humanity's suffering. Either that or this guy's immortal already. Forgive me, I
すま
don't
んぞ。
understand.
わからぬ。ウテには
Truth?
真理など
Such wisdom is beyond me.
それをお教えします。
I'll teach it to you. Please listen.
村正殿、どうか
Allow
聞
me
い
to
てくだ
explain.
さい。
Allow me, the awkward Frenchman, to explain.
そして
Listen and make my dream
私
come
の
true.
夢を叶えてください。
I'm listening.
遠い昔、グラキアにエンペドクラスという賢者がいました。
Long ago, in a land called Greece, there was a philosopher by the name of Empedocles.
宇宙の断りを説いた人物
I
で
don't know
す。
Empedocles very well.
人間の歴史上、真の英知の持ち主と呼べるのは彼一人しかいません。
It was he who unraveled the mysteries of the cosmos. No man in human history has been closer to true wisdom. He casually took a couple hacks and said it's only a scratch. He might already have a philosopher's stone. Or at least have figured out how Tsurugi regeneration works. Maybe.
宇宙
The mystery of the cosmos?
それは以前にお伺いした
You mean what you
あ
spoke
の
to before?
話のことであろうか。この世には磁気、神気、早期の3つの力があるという。
Magnetism, gravity, and the nuclear force, the three powers that govern all things in nature? Is that what you-
それはエンペドクラスの考えを私なりに進めてみたも
It's
の
my
で
own
す。
theory based on Empedocles' teachings.
物理には近づいているはずですが、
Well, he only knows three
真理
forces.
からは離れてしまいました。
It more accurately explains the material world, but I fear it's strayed from the truth.
彼はこう言いました。世界は4種の元素と2種の力で構成されている。
The world is comprised of 4 elements and 2 forces.
地、陽、海、空の4つが愛の力で結びつき、また
I see.
争いの力で分かれることによって
Earth, fire, wind,
世
and water
の
are bound
万
together by
象
love.
が現れる。
They're divided from each other by
そう
strife.
説いたのです。
The interaction of these elements and forces is responsible for all the phenomena found in the universe. He's slightly off.
例えば人間は4種類の元素がほぼ均等に愛で結ばれることから生まれます。そして愛よりも強い争いの力、
Inner
怪我
science,
や
right? If you're gonna implement nuclear physics, or
に襲われると死にます。
yeah. Human beings, for example, are born when equal quantities of all 4 elements are joined by the force of love. Strife, however, is stronger than love, and when it strikes in the form of injury or illness, the elements are divided and we die.
この理論で世のあらゆる物事が説明できます。
Everything in the world can be explained by this theory.
ならばウラム殿、正義とはいかなるものか。
What is
ま
justice
た
then?
邪悪とは。
What about injustice?
正義と邪悪、善と悪ですか？
Justice and injustice? In other words, good and evil? Tell me where
ぜ
to
ひ
find
と
them.
も教えていただきたい。
ありません。
何？
What?
そんなものは
They don't
存
exist.
在しないのです。
な、
But they must.
ないはずはなかろう。
Why do people believe the elementary particle of justice exists?
そうですね。実質は何もありませんが、単なるものの見方としてなら、
They
あ
don't
るとも
exist
言えます。
in absolute form. Depending on your point of view, however, you can find good or evil anywhere you look. Yeah, pretty much.
味方？
Point of view?
ムラマサ殿、
Take this
今
flask.
フラスコに塩と水を入れてかき混ぜ、蓋をしました。
Okay.
こ
By
の
mixing
閉じ
salt
た
and
世
water in
界
this
に
flask
は
plugging them
塩
out,
水と空気しかありません。
I create a single self-contained world. In this world, there's only salt water and air. Okay.
これを下から火でなすると
If I heat this flask over a flame,
争いの力が働きます。
right,
結
takes
ばれ
effect.
ていた塩と
It breaks
水
the
が
bonds
分か
that
れ、
held water and salt
水
together.
は水蒸気となって
Water
空
rises
気と
into the air
混
as
ざり、塩は結晶に戻ります。
And the salt returns to its crystalline form.
うん。
Indeed.
さて、善と悪はどこにあったでしょうか？
So where in this exchange could good or evil be found? It's true.
我々の世界に置き換えて考えてみてください。
Or think of it in terms of our world.
塩と水を引き離した争いの力。
The force that tore salt and water
火
apart is
が
evil?
悪なのであろうか。
そうですね。人のつながり、絆は尊いものです。これを引き離すのは罪悪だと言えるでしょう。
The bonds between people are sacred, and any force that destroys them may indeed be called evil.
塩と水を塩水にしていた愛が正義で、引き離した火が邪悪か。
You could put it, I mean, there's a thought. Here's a thought. Since he said weak nuclear force, it's a translation, and it might actually just be like element. I don't know what it actually is in Japanese, but it might actually mean something else in Japanese, and they just like map it to nuclear force when nuclear force is defined under like Western science, right? Who's the person who termed the fundamental forces? I don't know who it was, but like half the time, odds are, if it's like 20th century stuff, like half the time it's someone in Europe. So like, it's gonna be translated to Japanese, and they might have just taken an existing concept and just mapped it to that and said it was good enough. That might be what they're doing. And then when they translate it to this story to English, they use that word, but they actually mean the original for whatever a concept it originally held. Like, it might be a translation error. He might not be specifically referring to like atoms themselves. I mean, he seems to be saying elements are the building blocks of nature, and we assume that he means, you know, periodic table elements, but given his further explanation here, where he's discussing what's his face? Empedocles, he might actually be suggesting the elements are fundamental, and say like a binding agent between elements is the third fundamental force, and then he might be defining his elements as like fire, earth, water, and air, right? Therefore, there wouldn't be any nuclear theory introduced, and he would still keep his theory intact. Where he's like, yeah, magnetism does some weird shit, it doesn't seem appropriate. Gravity seems separate, and then, I don't know, we got this thing that holds matter together. composed of the which is composed of the elements, right? As I believe people typically don't consider the world made of atoms for a long ass time. Yeah, he could be just describing the bonds. This could be the bond force. Bond force. Let's say bond force instead of nuclear force. It could just be bond force. That's like the component that keeps elements together. Weak force was discovered by Fermi, and strong force used later by 3 guys. Yeah. The way too recent. But I was more thinking, when did it become popular for people to conceptualize the elements as numerous rather than as a few simple ones, i.e. the classic elements, the 4? It's very popular to think of the 4 elements, but like formation of like the elements is like individual raw materials that are not simply like the classic, like fire as an element is like fucking super popular. At what point did people start saying that like an object or material is a I forget what century that was in, but presumably it hasn't reached Japan yet, because in the setting we're in right now, that guy had to be introduced to mathematics, the fundamentals of 0, right? He didn't know about Arabic numerals. In fact, they were called Indian numerals at the time, so in this setting, so presumably he learned them there. Maybe because India was a learning center at the time? I'm not quite sure. Maybe he got a better education there than on his way through the Iraq, Afghanistan area. You're irritated these basic forces? I mean, to be fair, he is referring directly to a Greek philosopher and stating what the Greek philosopher's concept is. So, in this conversation, that shouldn't be problematic, because because he's like directly quoting someone's beliefs, or paraphrasing someone's beliefs. Sorry, I shouldn't say directly quote. He's paraphrasing someone's beliefs from Greek, and he's like, this guy believes in these things with these elements. That's not a bait and switch. He's like saying, hey, I have a more complicated theory, but this is kind of like the fundamentals of where it is, where it's like, this guy had this idea, and I've expanded on it, and I think this might be like sort of it. You know, he's like evolved that guy's thesis into something else. I think that's fine. Yeah. But is it love that binds salt and water? Is that justice, and the fire that divides it unjust?
しかし村正殿、
But look close.
よく見てください。塩と水は分かれましたが、新たに水と空気が混ざり合い、
The
も
salt
や
and
が
water
生
were
まれ
indeed
てい
divided.
ます。
But now the water is mixed with the air to form mist.
水と空気の間に愛が働いたのです。
Love has bound
と
water
い
and
う
air
こと
together.
は、火は善でもあったのです。
In which case, fire must have been a force of good.
今度はこの世界を冷やしてみましょうか。
And now let's try cooling this world down.
もやを冷やすと、水は水滴となって落ちます。
As the mist cools, the water condenses into droplets. It's also an interesting way to explain that actions are neither inherently good nor bad, right? Or sorry, like an action in and of itself is not good or evil. So he's using water transformation. He's like, is heating water good? Is cooling it bad? Is cooling air bad? Right, as the mist cools, the water condenses into
水
droplets.
滴は塩を溶かし、再び塩水になります。
They fall to the bottom of the flask, where they dissolve the salt to again create salt water.
塩水を生んだのですから、冷やしたのは善の行いですね。しかし、もやを分解してしまったので、
Salt and water were bound by love, so cooling the flask was an
Akudemo
act of good. The mist, however, was divided by strife, so it was also an act of evil.
村正殿、わかりましたか？
This guy,
善と
Good and
悪
evil?
は
裏表でしかないと。
but two sides of the same coin?
そうです。ある行いを 特定の視点から見たときに善と呼び、逆方向から見たときは悪と呼ぶ。
Precisely. Any act when viewed from a specific angle can be considered good, and when viewed from another can be evil.
それだけのことに過ぎないのです。
And the only difference is your own perspective. Okay. I see, I see.
しかし人々はこの善悪をさも重大なものであるかのように扱っています。
The start of this last line, oh my
無意
goodness.
識にあるいは意識的に。
And yet, whether consciously or unconsciously, human beings treat this question of good and evil as if it were the most important thing in the world. Yes, yes, that makes sense. Okay. It's important, but it does depend on your perspective, for the most part. I mean, the question is somewhat important, as it helps to unify humanity and create an association of people or a society in general, right? Foundation of society has to be like what people are entitled to, what is right and what is wrong. Otherwise, it's just anarchy, right? Like, good and evil is important for founding a stable society, I think. So it is somewhat important if you intend to progress anywhere or make a stable society. One that you yourself would want to live in. Or like a random person would want to live in, maybe. Right? Like what can you get everyone to agree to? Seems like a fundamental way to found or maintain society by establishing rules based on what everyone can agree is universally right. Ideally that exists. It may not. But it is a very important question. It is a very important question, as that's how you establish common beliefs and goals and prove certain. Yeah, that seems right. Alright?
なぜ
Why? Why?
自分の利益になる愛を肯定し、自分の損失になる争いを否定するためで
Generates the
す。
love that serves their needs and condemn the strife that does not.
この独善こそ人の心を縛る悪魔の呪い。
His self-righteousness is Satan's curse upon the souls of mankind. This guy unironically believes in Satan.
ムラマサ殿、もうお分かりでしょう。
Now you understand why war never
どう
ends,
し
why
て
peace does not last.
平和は長く続かないのか。
Someone's
ど
peaceful
うして
state is
戦
another
争は
person's
繰り返されるのか。
oppressive rule. Yeah, okay.
それは水は水だけの愛を、空気は空気だけの愛を、塩は塩だけの愛を求めるから
10,000 years of
です。
strife, and all because salt, water, and air each pursue only their own form of love, their own brand of justice.
ムラマサ殿、
Muramasa.
ならば
If the world is to be made right,
世界を正すには
then the only way
独善を滅ぼすのです。
is to destroy man's self-righteousness.
アンペッドグラスの見つけた真
The
理
people
を
of this world must know the truth
人
emphatically
々
is
に知らし
discovered.
めてください。彼らを呪いから解き放つのです。
Free them from their curse, from the
自
selfish
分
love
だけ
that
の
dooms
愛
them
に
to
とらわ
conflict.
れて争い合う呪いから。そんな奇跡を成し得るものは剣しかありません。
Tsurugi are the key. Only the mightiest Tsurugi
あなたが
infused with God's will
神
can
の
accomplish this
剣
miracle.
を作るのです。
The last one we had tried to stop a nuclear explosion via gravity. Is such a
で
thing
きよ
possible?
うかこの村正にそこまでの大業が
Such as I. Can it do the work of God?
できます。
It can,
あ
yes.
なたに
You
は
have the skill as well as the knowledge
技
I've
があ
given
り
you.
ます。知識は私が教えました。そして力は
And all that remains is the power.
これは
Is this a
水
crystal?
素
No, wait, what?
いや違う バカ
What
な
is this?
バカな
A metal I've
エ
never
ビシ
seen
の知ら
before?
ぬ鉱物など
Impossible.
知らないのは当然です。これはおそらく地上
Did
に
in
一
fact
つ
make
きり
it
し
in
か
this
ないも
timeline.
の。
It's no surprise even an Amishi would not recognize it, for this stone is the only one of its kind.
ラピサギ、神の血肉です。
The Philosopher's Stone made from the flesh of God himself. Well, we did say he's the guy who invented and supposedly made the Philosopher's Stone. Okay, he made one in this timeline. That's why he's probably still alive.
神
Flesh of God, I see it.
いやわかる
Stone
確か
holds
に
its
これ
terrible
は
power.
途方もなきものだ
はい、
Indeed.
この石は人を不死にするほどの力を持っています。このように。
Behold.
ウラム殿その体は
Your body.
この石と同
The same
じ
as this stone?
ええ、この石を手に入れたから私は年を取らず、そして体は次第にこのように変わっていき
The
ま
day
し
I
た。
laid hands on this stone, my body ceased to grow older, and instead it slowly changed into what you see before you.
全身が変わる前にあなたに会えて
I'm truly grateful for the fates to
す
bring
べ
us
てを
together
伝えることができて
and for allowing me to pass on my
よかった。
knowledge before the stone consumes me utterly.
私は神より授かった使命を
At
果
long
た
last,
せ
I
た
fulfilled the
よう
purpose
で
for
す
which。God created me.
ウラム殿
長く
I've lived so long, so very
あ
long.
まりにも長く生きました。ようやく眠れます。
And now I can finally rest.
いかんこれか
Of
こ
course,
の石を
the stone will save you.
いけません。
Keep it
それはあなたが使
for
う
you
の
to
で
use.
す。思考の
Use it.
剣を
Use
作
it
る
to
た
forge
め
the
に
ultimate Tsurugi.
しかし
お願いします。
Please, Muramasa, it's up to you now.
あなたにすべて託
Bring
し
about
ま
world
す。
peace by forging the ultimate weapon.
人を独善から解き放つのです。
Cure humanity of the illness that's plagued it for so long.
一人の愛ではなく全員の愛を
Lead people from the darkness of
争
selfish
い
love
を
to
起
pure
こ
love.
さず
God's love, unconditional, all
万
encompassing.
物を分け隔てなく結びつける不変の愛を求める道
Yeah.
いざなうのです。
Good luck with that.
神の愛を
May the world know. May the world
こ
know
の世
Agape.
界にどうか
I think we're missing a Tsurugi, my dude. You ask whether it's present and integrated into Muramasa Ginsego. We're missing a Tsurugi, and it might also be integrated into three of them. Because Ginsego and Muramasa are both wielders of fundamental forces, right? So I think we're missing a third Tsurugi, the nuclear force Tsurugi, which we haven't been introduced to. We might get introduced to it here. And I don't know about the stone. It might be split.
ウラム殿ウラム殿聞け我が娘よ
He'd be
我
my
が
daughters.
孫よこれより村正火事の道を告げる
Time has come to reveal our way.
ふむ
Yes, Father.
はい
We're ready.
剣とは武の器戦のためのもの
Vessels of might forged for war.
ゆえにまず 戦を見る。
Therefore, we must first
戦
understand the
とは
nature
い
of
かな
war.
るものなのか。善の働きにあらず、正義の現れにあらず。
War is not the struggle of good versus evil. It's not an exercise in honor or justice.
戦とは我の望みを求めて彼の望みを壊す行い。
War
武
is
と
the
は
act of
その
destroying another's
暴
love
力。
to satisfy your own. Might is the instrument of this self-righteous perversion.
独善なり。これこそが悪。
Self-righteousness, that is our enemy. The...
我ら村正は戦を滅ぼす。戦の悪を人々に知らしめ、戦を人の世から晒しめる。
We'll eradicate war from the earth, and wherever we go, men will learn the horror of conflict and lay down their swords.
武にただ加担するのではなく、武を制するための剣を撃つ。
Thus, we will not be mere vessels of might, but the end of might itself.
それが音の行き着いた答えなのだな。
Is that the answer you've sought for so long?
そうだ。
It is.
ならば信ずる。あれは音の定めた道に従い、後を継ごうぞ。
If that's the path you'd have me follow, then follow I shall.
あれの後はこやつが継ぐ。
And my daughter will do the same. You know, she seems convinced. And I'm looking at Muramasa thinking, Muramasa seems decidedly uncertain here. She's kind of like, I don't know about that. Like, that face does not tell me I'm enthused. Or interested. She's kind of doubting here. Yes, mother.
音は心置きなく鍛造にかかるがよい。
You may commit your soul to the forge with no regrets, father, knowing your legacy is safe in our hands.
だが撃てだけではない。慣れも鍛えよ。
I won't be going to the forge alone. You'll come with me.
それは剣を2両献上するということか。
What do you mean? Are we to offer two Tsurugi?
そうだ。ただし一方にではない。南朝と北朝に1両ずつ。
Yes, but not only to Yoshino. One Tsurugi for the south, one for the north.
両人の部を共に抑えねば乱は収められん。
This war will not end unless both courts' might is brought to heel.
道理だ。
Of course.
いなやはあるまいな。
I trust you have no objection.
無論音の理想を体現する剣となることこそあれが宿坊であった。
None. It's my destiny and indeed my desire to shed the flesh in service of your dream. Remember her opening lines were like her announcing her devotion to her grandfather.
孝子の憂い
Her
もない
father.。
こやつにはすでに全ての技を伝えてある。
My duties in this life are complete. My daughter has learned all the skills I have to teach.
明日より早速鍛造にかかろうぞ。
Let's begin the forging with the rising of the sun.
音の望みが剣を持って人の心中の刃を砕くにあると知ったからには
Together we'll pursue your
そ
dream
の
until the
望み
last self-righteous
必
blade has
ずや
been
あれが果
shattered
たす。
and peace reigns across the land. Indeed. Their enemy is self-righteousness. Alright, interesting. Here, the narrative that's been unfolded before me loses clarity and focus. The events that followed my Muramasa did not witness with her own eyes. They're revealed to me as she learned of them through brief images and second-hand accounts. Old Muramasa and his daughter went to their forge, and the Tsurugi that emerged were indeed exceptional in strength and ability. In addition, they possessed two powers, some might call them curses, but they were unique to their line. First was the law of balance, one good for one evil, one friend for one enemy, one beloved for one despised. This is the price Muramasa demanded of its masters, and thus no Musha who joined with the Tsurugi of their line would ever be able to call his battle just, nor would he be able to wield this might freely. For though Muramasa's power was second to none, to slay an enemy in service of his dream would be to himself become that dream's downfall. This is the first step towards eliminating man's self-righteousness, the ability to judge oneself good and the enemy evil that lay at the heart of all conflict. The second step in the second power was that of synchronization. The Muramasa Tsurugi could emit invisible waves that imposed their master's state of mind upon any human in their area of effect. The law of balance would thus be transmitted to the Musha's compatriots, forcing an entire army to embody the truth of war. Even Musha were not safe from synchronization, though they were shielded from waves by their enchanted armor. Muramasa could still infect their Tsurugi with eggs, concentrations of corrupting energy that would grow within the Tsurugi's armor, and upon hatching, transform it into a relay for Muramasa's power. the new Tsurugi's first victim would be its own pilot. That said, there's no reason to believe that Muramasa's master would brainwash his own men with its power. A sensible Musha would only use it to disable his enemy's forces, thereby ensuring victory. That was, of course, precisely the reason old Muramasa and his daughter forged two Tsurugi, one for each side of the conflict. If each uses synchronization against the other, then the law of balance would rule the entire battlefield. It was perfect. Old Muramasa's plan left no room for error, no chance that something might prevent the realization of his dream. The Tsurugi would bring peace to Yamato. The long war between North and South would come to a graceful end. Or so he believed, and so his daughter believed. And so even his granddaughter did not doubt. And then they proceed to not ever encounter each other and just kill everything else. That said, things did not proceed as they hoped is something we who possess the benefit of hindsight would know all too well. History says the Nanbokucho War ended in absolute chaos, a horrifying bloodbath that claimed the lives of experts estimate as much as 20% of the total population of Yamato. Thus, the line of Sengo Muramasa came to be reviled as cursed, insane, and though they vanished after only 3 generations, the world will forever remember them as demon armors of legend. I see, an interesting gambit. The next scene opens in a Plato courtyard, elegant and serene. Muramasa, whose eyes I'm once again borrowing, is prostrate before a flight of stairs leading up into a stately palace. A man stands at the top of the stairs, though only his feet are visible to me. I can feel his gaze upon Muramasa's back. The courtyard is empty, but for them I sense other people in the vicinity. But they remain silent and out of sight. You're Muramasa's granddaughter? Doesn't sound useful in any form, even as a demonstration to stop war. I mean, raising the cost of war and reminding people that it's a mess seems kind of like a interesting principle. I mean, if you don't know your weapon embodies that, and embodies that in everyone around you, then it'll probably result in a massive bloodbath. Sounds like an unstoppable chain reaction. Yeah, it could be a mess. Yeah, it could be very easily be a mess. But if it stops the war, would that be worth it? Maybe. Right? Maybe they have a big confrontation. He's thinking, right? Maybe they have a big confrontation. Fucking everyone who's a self-righteous dick who wants to murder other people dies. And then you move on with your life. Could be okay. If it works, in theory. The philosophy kind of works. Your Muramasa granddaughter? Yeah. Yes, Your Majesty. I'm humbled and honored to be...
よい。今は公衆の前でも町議の場でもない。
No war if there's no service in the country. Or like, no war if there's no one who is self-righteous enough to kill anyone. That's the principle, right? The principle is basically like, if he makes the cost of war so unbelievably high in everyone's minds, no one will want to fight a war. That seems to be what it is. So he may be aiming for like rudimentary mutually. It's like MAD, okay? You know, mutually assured destruction. It's like a variation of that. He says, like, you know, nobody invades a country with nukes because they'll nuke you. You don't nuke that country because they'll nuke you. Since everyone loses so much, nobody goes to war. It's like that. That's why you have nuclear weapons or an ally with nuclear weapons and a defense alliance with them. Because then nobody invades you because they know if you get invaded, the nukes fall and everyone loses. He's basically trying to like do something like that where he's like, okay, you know, you, the wielder of Muramasa, don't want to kill anyone because you know if you do, you have to kill someone you don't want to kill as well. And you don't want to lead an army to war because everyone in your army will be forced to follow the same rule. As will everyone in the opponent's army because it's a fucking aura. And then because they gave it to both of them, both leaders don't want to go to war. Presumably the idea is both leaders don't want to kill anyone because if they end up going to war, people die. And they're going to be on the battlefield, meaning all of their people are going to die because they're killing their enemies, right? Basically making the war so expensive because they're going to lose a shit ton of people. It makes sense to me. It's like, how can I like stop a war? Is it a great solution? No, because if you don't tell people that's what's going to happen and that's your plan, a shit ton of people die. which is what happened. But maybe if it stops the war, it's an okay trade. I mean, they lived through a century and more of conflict. So, 100 years of war? How many people die in the process of 100 years of war? I mean, we can go look at the numbers for how many people die in 5-year wars. It's pretty disgusting. You get the idea, but the realization seems unstable to get through. Yeah, it seems like it's not something that's going to be lasting, and since it's tied to like a specific Tsurugi, basically it would only work once. And the second time, it's just like, nah, it doesn't work. Second time, it just doesn't work. Because no, people are just like, oh, those Tsurugi are cursed, don't use them. Like the first time, you give them away, and you're like, hey guys, use these, they're super OP. Don't tell them anything. The war ends because they're like, oh my god, that was a fucking disaster. I don't want to go to war again. And then, like, in hindsight, they're just like, actually, that Tsurugi was super fucking cursed. Fuck that Tsurugi. Right? It, like, stops the war for a short time. I don't feel like it's a permanent solution, though. Right. So, deities, this is neither a public audience nor an affair of the court. You need not trouble yourself with unfamiliar customs. Yes, Majesty? Your Majesty, so the man before her is the Emperor of the Southern Court, most likely. And as you've no doubt already heard.
Muramasa, そなたの家紋はこれを断絶する。
Muramasa, your clan is to be expunged. You may take no husband and bear no children.
剣鍛冶上門の城村正はそなたをもって終えよ。
The line of Uemon Nojo Muramasa ends with you.
承知して
Yes, Your Majesty.
我が一門の犯したる罪招きたる災いのほどを思えば祖先に遡り一族系類放殺の受け目に遭おうとも恨み事は申せませぬところ
Think of the terrible crime my clan committed, the chaos and bloodshed we caused. Should you order the execution of every last Emishi who bears a drop of common blood, it would be no less than we deserve.
陛下のご慈悲
Thank
に
you, Majesty, for showing
感
such
謝いたし
mercy.
ます
Indeed. The end of her line, all the skills and all the history of the Muramasa clan would die with her. As a citizen of a different age, I can only imagine the weight such a sentence might carry for a person of her time. But the quivering of her shoulders and the bitter taste of her tears make that task a simple one. All because of her family's sin, the catastrophe that they visited upon Yamato. Catastrophe! Images surface in Muramasa's mind, and I view them with her. And there the hidden truth of the Nanbokucho War is revealed. It was an accident, a hiccup of fate that brought everything to ruin. At the time of Muramasa's forging, the general of the Northern Court, Ashikaga Yoshimochi, to whom Muramasa I was granted, was by no means secure in his power. His role was less to lead his men than it was to ensure their needs were met and they remained loyal to the North. It was only by the political acumen of his younger brother, Yoshitsugu, that he was able to hold the army together, and even then just barely. The slightest shift in the South's favor was enough to earn him considerable enmity, and it wasn't uncommon for Yoshimochi to find himself staring down the blades of men who had been his allies just days before. Yeah, interesting sound effects. The incident in question occurred shortly after he joined with Muramasa I, on the eve of what was to be a great battle, and taking advantage of the pre-battle carousing, an assassin infiltrated Yoshimochi's manor and attempted to take his life. The general was a veteran of the battlefield, and without batting an eye, he drew his sword and slew his attacker. The law of balance is absolute, and no man may defy its mandate. And so, with his return stroke, Yoshimochi slew the ally sitting at his right hand, his brother Yoshitsugu. And from that moment, the armies of the north ceased to be men, joined by Muramasa's power to the mind of their now insane general. They became instead a horde of demons, ravening and mindless. Faced with this tide of unstoppable madness, the southern general Kusunoki Masahide had no choice but to put on his own men under Muramasa II's control, before the enemy's corrupting waves reached them. What followed was a battle more gruesome and nightmarish than any that's come before. One side of the battlefield was fueled by a bloodlust, a monstrous swarm laying waste to everything in its path, and the other a cauldron of horror and sorrow, a legion of men forced to slay one comrade for each enemy head they took. The end of days, it might as well have been called. It was as though death itself stalked the battlefield, its scythe reaping souls by the thousand. To this day, there's no accurate estimate of how many lives were lost, nor how many villages were wiped from the map. I doubt anyone tried to take the tally, and in the aftermath of war, those who managed to survive have no strength left but to look upon the devastation and wonder how much misery could come to pass. One thing is certain, by the time Kusunoki and his famed 13 at last defeated the terrible might of the elder Muramasa and brought an end to the chaos, Yamato had become, in the words of one monk, a paradise for the wolves and maggots, for all manner of beasts that feeds on human flesh.
Muramasaよ。
Muramasa?
そなたら一門に悪心がなかったことはよくわかっている。
We We know your clan harbored no ill will. You only wanted to bring peace to
収
Yamato.
めたかったのであろう。
Did we succeed?
元を正せば民の苦難も顧みず戦を続けた陳の
We
罪
don't
こそ
blame you
重い
for it, but we're gonna make you suffer for it. Yeah,
もうそっと
classic,
早く
classic emperors.
北朝とはしておれば
If only I'd done something. Anyway, I'm not taking responsibility. It's your fault. If only I had done something to fix this obvious problem. Anyway, I'm gonna blame. You're gonna take all the blame and punishment for it. Bye. Classic empires. Yep. Okay. It says some nice words. Actually punishes someone who isn't really to blame. Sounds about right.
いずれ陳の罪は
One day we too will
天
face
の
heaven's
罰すると
judgment.
ころとなろう
If only. So far, it seems like that's not the case.
が
However, as
それでも
guardian of the worldly
村正よ
order, we have no
陳
choice
は
but to
諸
punish
職
those
を
who
預
bring
かる者
disaster
と
to
して
Yamato. It's not your fault,
国土
but we're
に
gonna
災禍
punish
を
you
もたら
anyway.
したそなた
Classic.
らを許すわけに
Classic.
はいかぬ
Classic. Your
Look at
clan
you.
is guilty of this crime, and your
そな
grandfather
た
and
の
mother
祖父
foremost
と
among them.
母は
Okay. And the Emperor never dies in any timeline, so... Emperor gets to live good after Muramasa won the war for the South Emperor. Alright. Remember, he's still chilling out in his palace, even though Rokuhara is in control.
始祖村正は粉々に砕かれすでに跡形もない
Muramasa
楠
the
木
First
の二
was
世
destroyed
村
in
正は
combat.
深く傷つ
He
い
was
たが
shattered into 1,000 pieces, but though gravely wounded, Muramasa the Second still lives, and with time will surely recover.
これを
This we can't allow.
このままに近いうちに砕きいつぶすさよう心得よ
Muramasa the Second will be cast into the Imperial Forge, there to be consumed, so we've ruled.
お待ちを
Please,
陛下
Your Majesty. Double punishment.
どうか
Anything
その
but
儀ば
that.
かりは
二世村
You'd have
正
us
を
spare your mother?
ヘミシに取り剣となるは本望戦場にて倒され土に朽ちるもまた本望
Become a Tsurugi is the wish of every Yamishi, and to be destroyed on the field of battle is the greatest honor a Tsurugi can ask for.
されどひとたび剣とな
But
り
to
な
be
がら
melted down like scrap
戦
is
な
a
き場
fate
所
more
で
cruel than
鉄くず
death.
に戻され捨てられるわヘミシとして家事師として死にも打獄にも勝る通告
Yes,
そう
so it would be.
だが戦で葬るには今一度あの恐ろしき剣を誰かにまとわせねばならぬ
However, if your mother is to be granted an honorable end, some poor Musha must don her
真
cursed
が
armor.
許せると思うてか
You think we would permit such a thing? Of course not. This emperor is an asshole, because he's an emperor.
武の器
A
は
weapon must
戦
meet
場
its
に
end
て
of the
朽ちねばな
battlefield.
らぬものそれが叶わぬならいっそ封印され英語の眠りにつき忘れ去られるを望むものにございます
A weapon must meet its end on the battlefield. If that's not possible, then better it be sealed away and forgotten. That is what any Tsurugi would desire. Alright.
どうか陛下
I'll do anything you
こ
ask,
の
make any
国を堅持で
sacrifice.
お願い申し上げます
If only she decided that the law of balance doesn't apply to asshole emperors. Oh well. True, she was technically alive with Akaru inside for the after surviving a nuke to the face.
先
Your
ほど
Majesty, you yourself said my mother
陛
and
下はお
grandfather
認め
only
ください
wanted
ま
peace.
したその通りなのです
Nothing could be more true. For
我
all
が
their
親
mistakes
が
and crimes, their
何を
intentions
誤
were
っていた
good.
としてもその願いだけは正しかったはずなのです母が剣として最も卑しき最後を遂げればその願いまでも汚されてしまいます
For my mother to now meet the most ignominious end would debase the very dream she fought for.
土に埋めていただいても構い
Bury
ませ
her in
ん
the earth if you must, or hide her at the bottom
海
of
に
the
沈
sea.
めていただいても構いませんですがどうか
I beg you,
いつぶしだけ
spare
は
her
お
from
許しを
destruction.
土に埋めても
What's buried may be
掘り返さ
uncovered,
れ
what's
るや
hidden
も
may be
しれぬ
found.
そうして村正の剣が大和に帰り
And should a Muramasa Tsurugi return to Yamato,
再び
chaos may once again swallow the land.
地上を地獄に帰るやもしれぬ
To be fair, Ginsenko had how many years and didn't really cause that much of a mess. So, okay.
村正よ
Muramasa, you said
首
you
を
make any
剣ずる
sacrifice?
との言葉に嘘はあるまいな
Were those words truly spoken?
は
Yes.
いご感情を賜れるのであればいつなりと
I'll do anything even if it'll earn your majesty's mercy. Irony. The emperor wins the war because of this crazy Tsurugi. This crazy Tsurugi show. And then he immediately punishes them. Oh, classic.
よろしい
So be it. We hereby command you.
ならば三世村
Muramasa
正
the Third.
そなたに命ずる剣を撃て
Forges Tsurugi.
そなたの母に被験する剣となるのだ。
Forges Tsurugi to equal your mother.
そして母と共にいずこかの山院で眠れ。
And
願
go
わ
with her
く
deep
ば
into the
永
mountains
遠
and remain there in slumber inviolate. Heaven's willing and eternity shall pass you by. But understand well,
そな
Muramasa.
たを共に封ずる理由は他でもない。
Understand well why we command you be sealed with her.
将来何者かが封印を破り、二世村正を手にしたとき、
If in a distant age some warrior breaks the seal and joins with your mother,
主を求めよ。
then you too shall seek a master.
そして母を監視するのだ。そなたの祖父が願った通り、世に和を導く力として用いられるならよい。だがもし、当
If
世
as
と
your
同様、
grandfather wished, she wields her power for the sake of peace,
災い
so
の
be
武
it.
者となり果てし時は、
If she threatens once again to unleash hell upon
そ
Yamato,
なたが二世村正を討たねばならぬ。
then you must destroy her.
それができぬと申すなら、やはり二世村正は潰すほかにない。
If you lack this resolve, we have no choice but to consign Muramasa II to the flame.
答えよ、
Answer now,
三世。
Muramasa III.
そなたは母を撃つことができるか。
Can you swear an oath to destroy your own mother?
できます。
I can.
必ずや五条の通りにいたします。
I swear to carry out your
よ
will.
かろう。
Very
なら
well.
ば、繰り返し言い置くぞ。
Let's be clear on
剣と
this.
なったそなたが無人と決縁するは、母が解き放たれた時のみ。
Your sole purpose as a Tsurugi is to guard Yamato against your mother should she awaken.
その時が訪れるまでは、
Until that time comes, you may
何
not
者
join
と
with
も
any
盾
warrior.
脇の儀を執り行ってはならぬ。
Yes, your majesty.
今一つ。祖父の秘宝をもって剣となれば、そなたもあの忌むべき技を備えるのであろう。
One more thing, a Tsurugi forged with your grandfather's arts will undoubtedly possess the same abominable power.
人の心を
Power to
動
control
かす。
minds. It is as you say, your majesty.
陳はあれこそが、
We believe that was his sole mistake.
そなたの祖父は急ぎすぎたのだ。願いは正しくとも。
Your grandfather was too impatient. His intention
人
may have
心
been
を
good,
強引に従えるやりようは、あまりに
but
性
only
急で
evil
あっ
can come of meddling with the hearts of men.
ゆえに。ああなった。
No doubt that's the root of this tragedy.
村正よ、命じておく。波の使用は真の名をもって禁ずる。
Muramasa, in our divine name, we forbid you from ever taking control of a human mind.
いかなる理由があろうとも、この禁を破りし時は、そなたはもはや真の真ではない。
Did you violate its commandment for any reason? You're from that moment no longer a loyal subject, but a traitor and enemy of the throne. Dude, but mind control is like the best fucking weapon you could have on a battlefield like that. You got like 1,000. The enemy's got 10,000 soldiers. Fucking mind control them to kill everyone who's your enemy. If you wanted to be smart about it. If you can make them all follow the law of balance, you can make them all follow the law of do whatever I want you to. Or the law of killing my enemies or whatever nonsense. Maybe it's too difficult, I don't fucking know. But it seems pretty strong.
いいな。
Do not fail us. Your Majesty? Yes. Very well.
祈っておるぞ。戦後右衛門の城村正。そなたと母が二度と目覚めぬよ
We pray, Sengo Uemon Nojo Muramasa, that you and your mother will never
う。
awaken.
長き時の果て。解き放たれることがあって。
She's also Sengo? Really? We pray, Sengo Uemon Nojo Muramasa. Alright.
その時こそ。
We pray that if you're ever
そ
brought
な
back
た
into the
の
world,
祖父の願いを叶えるために使われるよう。
it will be by someone wise enough to use your power for peace.
そなたと母が愛
And that you never
争
be
うこと
forced
な
to
ど
slay
な
your own
き。
kin. By all the gods of heaven and earth, let it be
天
so.
地神明に祈っておく。
Everyone's Sengo these days. So Muramasa's dream comes to a close. The newly forged Tsurugi was given with her mother into the keeping of one carefully selected warrior who sealed them deep in a mountain shrine. A queen ant cast in silver and a spider the color of blood. Untouched, unspoken of, the two slept as centuries passed. And then one day they slept no more. I mean, the good news is, if you can arrive at a philosophy where nobody is evil and bad, you actually can kill anyone you want to with Muramasa. As Ginsego proves. Right? So, theoretically, you could use it for peace or however you wanted to. You just have to see everyone the same. Like a Buddhist monk or some shit. If some super dedicated Buddhist monk, like, what was it? Wanseng Sanseng, right? Did that? That'd probably be okay. As I recall, in Fate, she at least had the ability to destroy the gates of Camelot because she sees everything as neutral, right? She sees everything as neutral and is neither good nor bad. Because she's so devoted to the Buddha. So theoretically, if she put on this armor, she'd be able to kill people without any problem because she wouldn't perceive anyone as evil. And she's actually neutral and neither good nor evil. Might work, maybe? Strange as it may seem, I find my jail cell a good deal more comfortable than the commissioner's residence. Criminals are meant to be locked away. It simply isn't appropriate for a murderer like myself to mingle with law-abiding citizens. Yeah, she preserves everything as her own action and not possessing an alignment. Therefore, she could kill anyone, just like Hikaru, if she needed to. Fortunately, the Otori pair has returned to Yokohama on GHQ business, so I've taken this opportunity to move back into my cell. I already told Ichijo I'll be out of town for a while. I'll have to go out into the world again once some trace of Ginsego is found, but for now I can relax, secure in the knowledge I'm where I belong. Of course, I have more important things to do than catch up on my sleep. How do I defeat her? Ginsego is a demon of plague upon the world, an invincible avatar of madness whose song drives men to meaningless slaughter. It must be stopped, and by my hand, though I still don't know what happened to Hikaru 2 years ago, I can no longer believe I can restore her sanity. Our encounter at Enoshima disabused me of that notion once and for all. And even if there were some way to save her, I haven't the luxury of trial and error. Wherever Hikaru goes, men die like birds in a storm. So I must defeat her. The problem is how. How do I bridge the gap in power? In common understanding, Amusha's strength is dependent on 3 factors. Pilot skill, Tsurugi abilities, and the level of cohesion between the two. Factor 1, our skill. The difference in skill between myself and Hikaru is not something that can be overcome easily. It's a matter of genius, raw, unparalleled talent. I don't intend to stop trying to close the distance, but I know better than to hope that a few days of focused training will cut it. He knows a training montage isn't going to solve all his problems, I see. But what about a dating montage with, your cute Imishi Tsurugi? Factor 2, our weapons. By my estimation, there's no significant disparity in strength between my Tsurugi and Hikaru's. Muramasa II's graviton control is a force to be reckoned with, but Muramasa III's magneton control promises no less power. Factor 3. The level of cohesion between Master and Tsurugi. I suppose that is the problem. As certain old Imishi's words have been much in my thoughts of late, perhaps that was my subconscious mind's way of drawing attention to the matter. We're starting on the path to, Above our Tsurugi. Okay. Oh. I should probably read this text. And yet, for all the times you fought together, you seem to lack a certain regard for your Tsurugi. Judging by how I've seen you interact, I can't help but feel there's considerable distance between you. I mean, there is a distance between them. A Tsurugi is a tool, yes, it's true. One mustn't forget, it's a tool with a soul. Old men and their slow talking. Yugenta. At the time, I was too foolish to heed the warning. I rebuffed Yugenta, insisting that soul or no soul, a tool cannot take responsibility for its use. My feelings on this matter have not changed. The duty of mastering a Tsurugi and the blame for whatever evil is committed with it belong to the man who wields it alone. It can't be shared, nor should it be. Well, I believe the Emperor thinks you're wrong, so fuck off. One Tsurugi's made for the actions of another Tsurugi, and the Tsurugi itself is to blame, not the tool or the wielder. Or not the wielder, but the tool. You could also say the people leading the war were already insane, but the Emperor doesn't seem to believe that, probably because that would mean his own side was insane. Can't be sure, should be. However, I knew nothing about Muramasa. The law of balance. I knew nothing of the meaning behind the dreadful edict. Part of it, of course, is that Muramasa never told me, but it's also true I've made no attempt to learn of her past. Perhaps by keeping her at a distance and by doing nothing to dispel the image of cursed Muramasa that all the history books convey, I'm trying subconsciously to absolve myself of guilt, to believe my crimes and Hikaru's are all the fault of this demonic armor. But always, Shinogi showed me the truth, that the law of balance is intended not to cause misery and sorrow, but to lead people to peace and understanding. Alas, old Muramasa's wishes backfired and resulted in indescribable horror that closed out the non-Bokushu War. Ha! It did close it out, see? A horror that's now returned to Yamato in the form of Ginseigo. And that must be why. That must be why Muramasa refuses to allow me, her master, to bear the responsibility that's my due. She feels she's responsible for defeating Ginseigo and for putting an end to the sins of her clan. We've refused to acknowledge the other's will, in a sense, fighting with nothing but our own individual strength. No wonder we can't defeat Ginseigo. It's not important whose sense of responsibility or guilt is more misplaced. What matters is that a Tsurugi and master so alienated cannot possibly function as a Musha should. A true Musha, is born out of mutual respect. The Tatewaki no Gi, or rite of joining, an ancient ceremony in which Tsurugi and warrior assess each other's character and ability and judge whether they're worthy. When I first donned Muramasa 2 years ago, the urgency of the situation only allowed for the most rushed of joinings. And since then, we've not performed a proper one. I saw no need, and Muramasa never so much as broached the subject. That is to say, Muramasa and I are critically flawed as a Musha. I was aware of the problem before now, but I always thought it trivial, something that could be solved with effort and skill. Perhaps it's time to rethink the posture, that is, if I desire any hope of defeating Ginseigo. Muramasa and I must be joined not as Master and Tsurugi, but as a single, indivisible whole, a Musha. It will never be accomplished so long as I continue rejecting Muramasa's will. You're back?
Yeah.
Yes. I look up and a crimson spider hangs in the ceiling. Okay, Muramasa is a giant red spider. How on earth does she get inside of a prison cell with nobody noticing? Like, look at the size of Muramasa. She's like, what, like 5-6 feet across? Like, so, like 1, maybe 2 meters across. Easy. Because, like, the legs are really long. I'd guess 2 meters across. And, like, 1.5 meters tall. And you're telling me nobody noticed a mechanical spider running down the hallways of a jail? Yeah, okay. Okay. Thanks to her innate skill at concealment, Muramasa's appearances are always sudden.
鎌倉市中一通り銀星号の気配を探って回ってみたけど
I made a run around Kamakura to see if I could catch Ginseigo's scent. And?
なんだか微妙ね
It's strange. It's like there's a hint
か
of
すか
something,
にあ
only
るよう
not.
な錯覚のようなもしかしたら今どこかから近づきつつあるのかもしれない後で
think they might
もう
be
一度見回ってみる
moving toward the city. I'll take another look around later. Alright. What? Nothing. Here and there, Muramasa's blood-red armor is smudged with dirt and mud, likely picked up while she was scuttling through the city. As a life form, so Tsurugi are fully capable of self-maintenance. It's not as though there's any particular need to clean a dirty Tsurugi. However, a true warrior. A true warrior would not neglect his weapons, would he? No, he'd always maintain them in the best possible condition. A battlefield is wherever you are, the Musha saying goes. You never know when or where an enemy might strike, and it'll be too late to shake the rust from your sword once they do. I hadn't given it much thought before now, but yes, I see the point. Where?
どうしたのよ
What is it? Does she even fit on the ground in his prison cell?
ちょっと
What are you? Wait a minute. There happens to be a cloth close at hand. I pick it up and pull Muramasa towards me and begin wiping at the sides of her thorax where most of the dirt seems to have collected. Murama! What? What's the matter with you?
なんだじゃないでしょどこ触ってるの
That's my life. Where do you think you're touching me? Your shell?
隙間の変態
No, man, perfect. Does she think of me the sort of man who's aroused by giant spiders? That would indeed make me a heinous pervert. I mean...
落ち着け。
Calm down.
そんなことされたらお嫁行けなくなる。
If you touch me there, I'll be unfit for marriage.
ダメ、そこダ
That's
メ。
what Ellie
これ
stops
じゃ
us
触ら
up.
ないで。カカ様。
Mom, help! Wait a minute. Isn't your mission to kill your mom?
落ち着けというに、異常な性癖に目覚めそうだ。
Stop struggling. I'm dangerously close to developing a new fetish. No, dude, no, stop. No, that's I don't. Let's listen to that line again.
落ち着けというに、異常な性癖に目覚めそうだ。
Yeah, yeah. Stop. He's delivering with too much force. Like, no, stop. Get some help, Kageaki. I want anyone.
0485、何を騒いでいる？
48, what's going on in there? I'm coming in.
なんだ？
What's
その
with the
珍妙
funny
なポーズ
pose?
は。単なるイメージプレイです。監視殿。
Just a little image training, sir. Training for what?
人間大の雲と楽しむ性的交渉。
Sexual intercourse with a man-sized spider.
そ、
Oh, well.
そうか。邪魔をした。
How do you even respond to that? Sorry to interrupt.
何か。
Was there something else?
あのな、どうしても辛い時には相談しろよ。
Oh,
大した力にはなれないと思うが、話くらいは聞いてやれるし。
you can tell me if you got a problem. I may not be much help, but I'm willing to listen.
ご厚情。
Much appreciated, sir.
うん。
Right. The guard is concerned for him.
やっぱりいやらしいことする気だったのね。
I knew you were up to something dirty.
お前まで真に受けるな。他の弁明がとっさに思いつかなかっただけだ。
Don't be ridiculous. That was just the only explanation I could come up with on the spot. But why was it the first thing to come to your mind, Kageaki? It was the first thing to come to your mind.
本当かしら？
A likely
じゃあ
answer.
どういうつもりだったのよ。
Then what were you doing?
お前があちらこちら汚れているから、拭いてやろうと思った。
You're covered in dirt. I thought I should clean you.
そう。
Oh, why did you say so? Muramasa seems to have calmed down, so I reseat her and resume cleaning. Thanks to her struggling, the dirt's more spread out than before.
けどそんなこと、これまで一度だってしなかったじゃないの。
Never done anything like this before.
無用のことだと思っていた
I
か
never
ら
thought it necessary.
ええ。放っておいても勝手に落ちるもの。
Yeah, why bother when it disappears all on its own?
だが、
I've
考え
changed
を
my
変え
mind.
た。
Or rather, I'm trying
い
to.
や、
どういうこと？
What are you talking about? Have you ever considered a shower or a bath for your robot spider?
武者としての姿勢を変えるべきなのではないかと。
I decided to re-examine my
そう
stance
考
as a
えている。
Musha. Something needs to change
銀星号を破るために、
if we're to defeat Ginsego.
今のままでは
We stand no chance
俺
as
た
we
ち
are.
は勝てない。これは現実だ。
Simply the reality of it. Maybe
かも
so.
しれない。
信仰一致という。
Oneness of mind and metal. I speak an ancient phrase which describes the supreme state all Musha strive to reach. The exact details of how to achieve it vary with whoever you ask, but the ultimate goal is to reduce the delay between pilot's commands and his Tsurugi's responses, or eliminate it altogether if possible. Thought and action should be simultaneous. Perfect oneness is said to be impossible to maintain. I know, however, it's not. My enemy stands upon that mythical summit.
銀星号は成し得ているようだ。
I don't know how, but Ginsego accomplished it.
あれに比べれば、俺たちの即応性はあまりにも大きく劣る。
Our response time is slower than theirs. That's why we find ourselves defeated before we can act.
気づいた瞬間には落とされている。この劣勢を挽回しない限り、
It won't change unless we
い
make
く
up
ら
the
戦っ
difference
ても
somehow.
結果は変わるまい。
言われなくても。その問題なら前から検討してた。
You don't have to tell me that. I've been thinking of ways to solve the problem.
制御系統の整備で改善が図れるはずなの。あと
I should be able to
関節
improve my
部の
control systems, and my joint actuators could use some.
お前だけの努力で解決することではないだろう。
It's not a problem you can solve alone. But
それは
信仰一致は、してと剣の課題だ。
oneness is something Master and Tsurugi must achieve together.
両者の間合いがどうあるかという評価だ。遠け
It's
れ
a
ば
matter of
叶
the
わず。
distance separating the two. Their hearts must be aligned to achieve it.
だから、
And that
お前が余計な自我を立てず、道具に徹すればよい。
is why you should devote yourself to serving as my blade.
お前
tool
を
doesn't need a
扱
will.
い切る。
It need only be used. Oh boy, here we go. He hasn't learned anything yet.
逆でしょ。
Got
あ
it
なた
back.
が私の手足に徹すればいいのよ。
You're the one who should serve me. This is how it's always been, and why we always lose. It can't continue. Not if I intend to defeat Ginsego and bring an end to her violence.
村正、
Muramasa.
何度繰り返しても同じよ。この
How
会
many
話は
times have we had this conversation? It's always the same!
あなたが引けないなら私だって同じ。
If you don't back down, then neither will.
ああ。だ
I
か
know
ら
that's why I decided to fold.
俺の方から折れることにする。
え？
頼む。
Please. I lower my head to my Tsurugi.
お前が銀星号との戦いを決して人任せにできないのは分かった。もう二度と道具になるとは言わん。
I understand you feel Ginsego is your responsibility. I won't ask you to forsake your duty.
村正。俺はお前の意志を認める。
Muramasa, I'm willing to recognize your will.
ミド。
お前にも認めてほしいのだ。俺もこの戦いを人手に預けることはできん。ヒカルは
I'm asking you to do the
俺
same
が
like
止め
you.
なくてはならない。
I can't leave this battle to another Hikaru. It's my responsibility.
頼む。
Please, Muramasa,
Muramasa.
accept this.
それだけが望
That's
み
all I'm
だ。
asking. That is all, but that's enough, surely. Enough to foster the change we need. I'm not asking to share our guilt or duty. In fact, I'm proposing the opposite, to acknowledge neither of us can bend. I'll continue fighting for what I must and bear the weight of that burden alone. Muramasa will do the same. And thus we respect the other's will while maintaining the sanctity of our own. If only I arrived at this conclusion sooner instead of wasting so much time struggling to smother Muramasa's ego.
意味のないことよ。
There's nothing to be gained from this.
ある。と思う。
I don't agree. This is something we
お
desperately
そら
need.
くは必要なことなのだ。
Better cohesion.
俺とお前が共に戦うために。
これまでだって一緒に戦ってきたでしょ。
But we've been fighting together all this time, haven't we?
いや。単に並んで戦っていただけだ。
We've merely been
これまで
fighting
は
side by side.
俺はお前を認めていなかったし、お前とてそうだった。その問題をうやむやにしたまま、騙し騙し、走行してきた
Till
んだ。
now, neither of us respected the other, but instead of addressing the problem, we ignored it, going about our mission like nothing was wrong.
倒すべき敵が共通であったから、それでもどうにか武者の格好はついた。
Yeah, we were able to effect some semblance of unity because we share a common enemy, but it hasn't been enough to defeat Ginsego. Silver Girl. Yeah.
勝たねばならない。
We must defeat the Muramasa.
勝つためだ、村正。俺のことをどう思おうが構わん。あくまで手足と思いたいならそれでもいい。
The edge.
だが、その手足にも
I don't
譲れ
care
ぬ
how
意
you
志
feel
がある
about
と
me.
認めてくれ。
Think of me as your puppet if you like. Just accept your puppet has a purpose of its own.
頼む。
Please. She meets my second entreaty with silence, though the tone of her silence seems vaguely uncertain. Is it too late? Am I a fool for thinking we can start anew? Regret for these 2 years wasted burns hot in my chest.
どうして急にそん
Why
な
the
ことを
sudden
言う
change of
の？
heart? Muramasa asks after several seconds.
知ったからだ。
As I learned the truth. Huh?
青江のしのぎは俺の昔を夢に見せたが、
Always Shinogi showed me images of my past, but I saw images of yours as well.
お前の過去も混ざっていた。すまないことをしたと思う。勝手に人の心底を覗くがごときは。
I apologize for the
俺として
intrusion.
も
I never
不
wanted
意で
to
はない
snoop through your memories.
しかし、お前の戦う理由、譲れぬ理由が、
But I
それで
know
分かった
now why you fight, why you can't let anyone else shoulder that burden. Wait, how did it take him seeing her memories to understand that? She literally calls Ginsego her mother, like, on a regular basis. And you know she was a real person. She's like, man, we gotta stop my mother. And he's like, oh man, I can't believe it was actually her mother. That's crazy. Like, what? Come on, Kageaki. Come on, dude. Like, she doesn't even call Ginsego. She calls it mother all the time. She's like, yeah, I was made specifically to beat her. Come on, man. Like, I made myself specifically to beat my mother, and you're like, oh, well, I have more right than you. And it's like, bro, what? I'm not even alive, bitch. I died for this. It literally was my whole life and life's purpose. Come on.
前たち村正一門が陽光などではなかったことも。
And I also know your line aren't the demons history makes them out to be. The law of balance, what I thought was a curse, had in fact been born of a desire for peace. I feel an upwelling of anger when I think of how I was forced to kill my mother, but that's only my weak heart at work. It was my choice to wield Muramasa, my choice to speak the Covenant, despite having felt beforehand the doom contained within the Tsurugi. I've only myself to blame. And then there's the philosophy that forms the foundation of Muramasa's law, the idea that ultimately good and evil do not exist. I can't bring myself to wholly agree, something tells me that things are not or must not be that simple. But I do understand it. The non-Bokucho War was an inescapable mire. In those darkest of times, such an absolute truth would indeed have seemed the only hope for peace. Now that I've experienced Muramasa's memories, I know the depth and of emotion represented by the law of balance. I also know the regret my Muramasa, the last Muramasa, feels for the tragedy it caused.
村正、俺がお前でも
Muramasa,
自
this
分の手で
Muramasa
決
didn't
着を
cause
つけよう
shit.
と望んだだろう。
Like, this Muramasa
So-
hasn't even seen use before. Muramasa, I understand you need to finish this yourself. Were I in your place, I'd feel the same.
だから俺はお前の意志を認める。
And that's why I'm willing to respect your will. It only took us 3 arcs for her to acknowledge that Muramasa was sapient. That's gotta be the you know what? How long did it take Shiro to recognize that? I guess Shiro has empathy. But it took him like 2 minutes. It took him like 2 minutes. Actual 2 minutes of reading, too. Not 2 minutes in universe. I guess she looks too much like a spider. Maybe we need someone who's robotic. Oh, well.
お前も認めてはく
Could
れ
you
な
not
い
do
か。
the same for me, except that I...
ダメよ。
No. Muramasa?
村、
私の考えは変わらな
My
い。
position hasn't changed.
考えを変えよとは
I'm
言
not
わない。
asking you to change your position, I'm asking you to accept mine.
認めてほしいのだ。
認めない。
I won't.
だが村正、
But we must
俺た
win,
ちは勝たねば
Muramasa.
なるまい。強くならねばなるまい。
We must be stronger.
ええ。信仰一
I
致
agree,
は
we need true oneness.
私も
Yeah.
必要だと思う。だからあなたは私の意志に従うべきよ。自分の意志を眠らせて。
That's why you should obey my will. Let your heart be stone and wait for it all to end.
それはできん。
I can't do that. I can entrust my duty to another one no more than Muramasa can hers. It's too heavy and personal.
そう。
I see, well,
でもね、
it's too bad.
あなたの希望なんて、
Not up to you
Okay.
anymore.
これだけはしたくなかった。
I didn't want to have to do this.
けれど、もう仕
If you're
方
gonna
な
be
い。
this stubborn, I have no choice.
あなたがそんなことまで言い出すのなら。見る私はね、一つだけ、カカ様にも、ジジ様にもできないことができ
You
る。
know, it might come as a surprise, but there's one thing I can do that even Mother cannot.
それは私が、二世村正を制するという特定目的のもとで誕生
It's
され
only
たからこ
possible
そ
because
可
of
能
the
なこ
purpose
と。
of my forging. Mother's destruction was so
目的
specific,
遂行のためならば、
if necessary for the completion of my
己
mission.
の視点に対しても、
I can use my power against my own master.
村正、
Muramasa.
お前は
You can't mean...
私の過去を見たなら知っているでしょ。私にも、この技はあるの。
If you saw my past, you know this power belongs to me as well.
人の心を
I
犯
can,
すこと
I
は
too can warp the minds of men.
私にだってできる。
Electromagnetic corruption disabled?
よ
Stop
せ。
it. Stop it.
それは帝に禁じられたのだろうが。
The Emperor forbade you from using that power? I saw with her own eyes the use of synchronization was prohibited by imperial edict. The people of medieval Yamato, the Emperor is a living god. His word was not only law, it was the law of heaven itself. Muramasa can't possibly violate it, can she? But contrary to my expectations, there's no hesitation audible in Muramasa's
遠
reply.
い。
That was a long time ago, and the Emperor is dead and no longer possesses any power.
あの時代から色あせずに残っているのは私の鋼鉄と使命だけ。邪魔になったあなたの意志を潰
The
す
only
くら
thing
い
that remains from that age is the duty I hammered into my steel. If your will stands in the way of that purpose, then snuffing it out is nothing.
そう
Nothing at all.
簡単なことなのよ。従いなさい。
Obey. Thoughts not my own take root in my soul. Are they coming from Muramasa? Is this how mental corruption works? Dire. There's no way to resist.
従いなさい。
Obey. These waves can stim you from the inside
あな
out.
たの心はいらない。
I don't need your heart.
私には
I don't want it.
必要だから。
So I have no choice.
だから
No choice but to erase it.
消す。
Say goodbye to Kageaki. Say hello to Muramasa, the main character. That would be cool, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'm me? Minato Kageaki, myself is intact? But why? I should have had no choice but to submit. Eh?
どうして
Why am I...
私は
Muramasa.
Muramasa?
もういい。
No, I
あな
don't
た
need
なんて
you.
いらない。あなたがいなくたって
Even without you, I could...
どこ行く
Where are you going?
どこでもいいでしょ。もうあな
What
たと
difference
は
does
こ
it
れき
make?
り。
I'm through with you. Kill him so you can get another master.
私は別の視点を探す。
I'll find a new master.
なんだと
What?
さようなら。
Goodbye. An instant later, my Tsurugi is gone, vanished as though she was never there.
追わねば
I have to go after her. Whatever logic or prudence may dictate, now is the time to listen to my heart. I can't let Muramasa leave like this, no matter what I gotta find her. Otherwise, I'll surely regret it until the day I die. But how to give chase? I'm still locked in myself. It'll take hours to contact the commissioner and arrange for my release. Will I make it in time? Yo, prison guard! My Tsurugi just abandoned me! Can you let me out of jail? Ask the prison guard to let you out, and he's like, yeah, sure, you leave often enough. You ain't a problem. It's like I'm in jail for 18 murders, but I'm out on parole so often. I may as well live off outside the jail. I leap from tree to tree and rooftop to rooftop, knowing not where my flight will take me, knowing only that I must not stop. The sun is still high above the horizon and people out on the streets. It's foolish to move out so overtly, but I can't bring myself to care. Right now, I need desperately to shake this thing that threatens to tear me asunder. The effort's futile, of course. No matter how fast I run, the sword slides within and not without.
認められる
I won't accept it, I can't.
わけがない。
He asked me to respect his will and to recognize he too has burdens to shoulder and duties to fulfill. It was all he wanted, and I rejected him utterly. He even offered to respect my will. This stubborn, mule-headed rock of a man was willing to change his mind. But even so, I couldn't allow it. When Aoi's Shinogi showed him my path, at the same time it showed me his, and so I know he was meant to live in peace. Never know the horrors of battle, but that promise, the right was denied him, stolen by me and my mother. If not for us, if not for the line of Muramasa, he'd still be living in that town with his family and friends. And if only I'd not been such a fool.
見捨てるべきだった
This could have ended
見捨てなく
500
ては
years
いけな
ago.
かった
If only I let Mother be destroyed. I should never have begged the Emperor for mercy. I should have stood by and watched as she was melted down for scrap. It would have been humiliating, mortifying, the worst disgrace of which an Emishi could conceive. I would have regretted it the rest of my days. But I should have done it all the same. I should have hardened my heart, swallowed my pride, and cast her into the flames myself.
それができなかったばかりに
And all because I couldn't. Because I lacked the resolve, Ginseigo was born, and the nightmare of the non-Bokucho War has returned to consume this distant age. I could have stopped it, all this madness, all these deaths. All the fruit of one woman's weak heart. The blame, therefore, is mine to bear. The battle is mine to finish. How can I let that man Kageaki shoulder the burden of my mistakes? I am the demon armor Muramasa, whose foolishness unleashed a plague on the world. Why must he suffer so for my crimes?
認められるわけないじゃない
I won't allow it. Sparing my mother was not my only mistake. There's also the law of balance to answer for. If not for that curse, whatever our intentions the curse it was, Kageaki would only have half the number of lives weighing on his soul. I'm different from the others in my line. I'm forged to destroy Muramasa II. When and if she again threatened the world. The law of balance, though, the centerpiece of grandfather's plan, was useless to me. So why'd you implement it? So why did I inherit it? Because I had no choice? The law of balance is not an accessory, it's the principle that governed my entire creation, the foundation of my Shingane, the root of my power. To do away with it, I would have had to redesign the forging process entirely, discarding all the knowledge of my forebears and starting over with only my skill to guide me. It wasn't an option. Even if I accomplished the impossible, the result would not have been a Muramasa Tsurugi. It would have been vulnerable to Mother's power, to her eggs. I couldn't have fulfilled my purpose. So I had no choice, none but to use the arts of my grandfather and thereby inherit the doom of my line. No choice, however. Even without those considerations, there's a part of me that wanted to bear the law. The law was the embodiment of my family's ideal and the answer that grandfather had been so desperate to find. I couldn't bear the thought that his blood and tears had been for nothing. The dream of a peaceful world free of self-righteousness, surely that was worth carrying into the future. How could I have been so irresponsible and thoughtless? Yeah, so I ultimately had no choice in the matter. My feelings weren't relevant one way or another, but I remember the selfishness that was in my heart that day. Unforgivable. Each time Kageaki is forced to slay a friend or a loved one, each time I hear his soul cry out in anguish, I curse myself for believing something good could come of this. That the law could ever foster anything but pain.
だから、せめて。
I can't save him, I can't protect him. Least I can do then is reject him and deny his will, deny any of this was his doing. It's my battle, and my decision birthed the tragedy, and my responsibility will be to end it. Descent! Something nearby, Ginsego, or one of the infected, is emanating Muramasa II's power. The sense thick and powerful as if the target's deliberately calling attention to itself. There's no time to waste. I turn back to the jail only to realize there's nothing for me there. I can no longer fight at his side. Not only did I spurn his offer, I was unable even to make him my slave. I'll have to face this foe alone. No.
一人でいい。
This is how it should be. Alright. Never should have involved another in my fight. Most Tsurugi need a pilot to function, but no matter. The art of Muramasa can overcome any disadvantage. I know they can, and I'll prove it. Activate electromagnetic field. Compress. Purge. Compress. Form skeleton. Adjust. 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 Compress. Form nervous system. Adjust. Full purge. Reform nervous system. Adjust. 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 Form musculature. Adjust. Verify. Adjust. Adjust. Verify. Program ready.
私は一人で戦える。
Is she able to make her own skeleton? That's what I just read there. I don't need anyone. Engage. To be fair, the supporting structure of a person inside that shouldn't be necessary, right? It's complete armor. Metal everywhere.
おお、早いな。
Oh, that was fast.
呼び立てたようですまない影焼き。いや、事実呼ん
Never
だの
calling
だ
you
が。
here, Kageaki. It's more a lure than a call.
どうしたわけか。今日という日は起き抜けからお前の顔が見たくて、矢も盾もたまらなくなってしまってな。まったく、乙女心というのはままならぬ。
Anyway, when I woke up this morning, I realized I simply had to see you before I could start the day. Ah, the mysteries of a maiden's heart.
お前も罪なやつ。しかし、こうして早速招きに応じてくれたのはありがたい。
It's your fault for being so adorable, though I must say I didn't expect you to arrive so soon.
誰だ貴様。
Identify yourself.
あら、騙し通せなかった？
Well, that was fast.
見くびるでない。外面に変わりがなかろうと、影焼きと他の誰かを取り違えるような俺か。
Who do you take me for? Armor or no, I could never mistake anyone else for Kageaki.
音が違う。
You sound wrong.
匂いが違う。
You smell wrong.
なんとなく風情が違う。
Your vibes are wrong.
そしてへその下にグッとくるものがない。
And most of all, you don't give me that tingling in my belly. Tingling?
雲、そやつはどこの馬の骨だ。どういう了見で影焼きを置いてきた。
Truly a brocon? Yeah, we know that. That wasn't even subtle from the first time we met her. Answer me, Spider. What are you doing with another master? Why have you left Kageaki behind?
答える義理はないと思うけれど。
I don't see why I should entertain your questions.
まさか。
No, it can't be.
影焼きは風邪でもひいたのか。それで代理か。
Kageaki catch a cold? Is that why you found a replacement?
なら看病に行くぞ。
Muramasa, prepare chicken soup at once!
行くのか？いや、待て。落
Wait,
ち着け
am I
ミ
his
ド。
mother now? Wait, calm down, Mito.
あれはどうも空のようだ。
If my eyes don't deceive me, her armor's empty.
ん？
What?
なんだあれ
Wait, you mean
は。
to say she has no pilot?
中身はスカスカなのか。
装甲されたように見せかけているだけだな。さて、何のつもりやら。
She's merely affecting the appearance of an armored Musha. The question is why? Why? Why do you even need a pilot? Real question. Why does the suit of armor need a pilot? Other than for decisions for the modern era, why do you actually need a pilot? Real question. It's a real question. You're a fully sapient person and live forever. Surely you could learn how to fight with a sword? And because you live forever, you could probably learn to do it better than anyone else. Will they explain why we need a pilot now? Hmm.
伝言に来ただけなら雲のなりでよかろうしな。
If she's here to deliver a message, she could have just come as a spider after all. They run on nutrition of the pilot, right? Could they not find another energy source, though? They're not guessing games.
なら直に聞くが、お前は結局何しに来
I'll
た？
ask you directly, why have you come?
戦うために決まっている
Fight,
で
of
しょう。
course, why else? And
影
Kageaki?
明は
してなんていなくてもいい。
I don't need a master. I'll
私
defeat
の
both of
力
you
で
myself.
あなたを、カカ様を撃つ。
Hikaru's just like, press X to doubt.
村も
Muramasa.
さ、
誠に遺憾だが、あれはどうも本気らしい。
Much as it pains me to say it, I believe she's serious.
何よ。
Got a problem with that?
何ではないわ。呆れる他にどうしろと。
Tell me, Spider, how am I supposed to respond to this lunacy? The same way we're supposed to respond to your lunacy. We respond to crazy shit with our own equally crazy shit. Why not?
そんなざまで俺の相手をするだと？
Do you truly expect to face me like that?
うぬぼれた言い草ね。
You certainly are full of yourself.
鏡を見て言うがいい。
No, no, that's my line.
村正よ、お前の娘はとんだダ作だな。
I gotta say, Muramasa, your daughter is quite the piece of junk.
返す言葉がないのは残念だ。
If only I could argue.
なんですって？
What was that?
どうしてやろうか。
How to handle this?
若者の相手で御堂を煩わせとうはない。我に任せてもらえぬか？
No need to waste your time with this fool. I'd ask you leave this to me.
許す。行け。
Very well, go.
おう。 甘く見て。
You mock me.
それはこの母に言わせておけ。そ
I
んな
believe
ごま
it's
か
we
しで
feel insulted.
いかにせばあれらに勝てると思うのだ。
What do you expect will come of this charade?
やってみなければわからない。
Won't know until I try. Yeah, why not? Hikaru lives by that rule. Won't know until I try, and it works out for her pretty well.
明々白々。その偽装がどれほど無様なものか。
Your
一
ignorance
目
knows
見
no
れば
bounds then.
伺い知れる。
Any halfwit could see how pitiful that costume is.
どうせ人型を取るなら、ここまでやらねば何の意味とてあるまいに。
If you require a human shape so badly, you need to go all the way. Is she gonna go all the way? Let's see it. Kinsego, do it. What?
新規修練。
Graviton charge! Here we go, baby. Yes! I knew it! She's like, grow a pair, you lazy shit. Turns into herself. Ginsego not fucking around, man. Ginsego's just like, bro, if you wanna 1v1 someone, I'll show you how this shit's done. Turns into their living self. So, why are Tsurugi not thought of as people again? Surely you could just live your life like this and then turn into armor. What? Cause plot? Basically, yeah. Like, maybe you're a second-class citizen, but why on earth are you not just like, yo, I'm just gonna hang out in human form all day? Maybe it's energy intensive or some shit, I don't know. Maybe Ginsego's the only one who knows to do that and is just flexing. Who knows? Right, and since they're both called Muramasa and we don't know their first name, I'm gonna call the silver one Ginsego. It's either that or call her mother, and that doesn't quite make sense for me. A flesh body? How?
そこから一歩進めればなせることなのだがな。
It's only a step away from where you're standing.
その一歩さえ
That
届かな
my
いと
own
は
daughter could be so dim.
我が娘ながら救いがない。ここで砕いてやるのが情けというものか。
A fool like you is better off dead. Shall I put you out of your misery? Alright, come on, Muramasa, do it!
そんな芸、無意味よ。剣の戦力はこの形が最も高い。
That's just a trick? This is the Tsurugi's most powerful form?
戦えば
You
私
don't
が
have a
勝
chance
つ。
against me?
さて、
Oh? What? Why?
この
You! What, are
ハ
you
エでも
swatting
追っている
flies?
のか。
Getting bullied by your mom?
そこまかと。
Stop jumping around!
まだ気づかぬか。ほとほと血巡りの悪い娘だ。
I'm starting to doubt you're really my daughter.
あれが素早いのではない。
I'm no faster than I
Nareda.
was in life. You, on the other hand.
あまりに泥臭いだけだ。そんな動きではハエはおろか、牛
You
も
might as
捕
well
ま
be
えられ
standing
ん。
still. Forget flies. I doubt you can hit a boulder in your state.
勝ち誇らないで。
Floating. I'm
ま
just
だよ。
getting started. Oh my god. Muramasa throwing hard here.
さすがにそろそろ理解できような。
Is it getting through your thick skull yet?
己のそのギクシャクとした
Have you
集体
realized how
が
clumsy you are?
どうして。
どうも
Why?
こう
Isn't
も
it
な
obvious?
武者なりは確かに司教の姿。しかしそれもしてと共にあればのことだ。
Yes, the Musha form is supreme, but only when paired with a human master.
中身のない鎧が何だという。
What use is an empty suit of armor?
張り子の虎に過ぎまいが。
A paper tiger would be more fearsome. True, you are wasting a lot of your mass in trying to make yourself look taller. And you're supporting an empty structure.
太刀の技もなく、熱量の供給もなく。
You're generating it. If you're able to reform your mass at will, you're using an inefficient form, right? A smaller solid would be way better than a larger hollow form. Especially because metal weighs more than flesh, right? So if you're able to turn yourself into a human, how tall is she? She's an Amishi and she's Japanese, so like 5'6", let's say. If you're a 5'6" woman, or you're like a 6 foot even guy wearing power armor, like what's bigger? The power armor? The power armor weighs more than the person, right? Presumably it's super inefficient to just be the suit of armor.
無駄に膨れた体を持て余すだけ。重いは鈍いは良いことなし。
Without them, the Musha form is heavy, slow, and a nightmare to control. Not one advantage comes to mind.
そんな故郷年に比べれば。この方がはるかに効率的。
This form is far more efficient. Observe.
そういうことだ。この形なら、新金の熱量だけで十分に戦える。
The heat of my Shinganes alone is enough to power this body. Literally lasts forever. Lasts forever! Are you kidding? The heat of her Shingane alone is enough to power this body. AKA, I don't ever need to leave this form. What? Muramasa, getting flexed on hard. I guess we see why Shinichi are way better. Like, what? Why would you ever... Now I'm like kind of lost as to why you'd ever not want to be a Tsurugi. Just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna be a human form all day. Like, is this not effectively immortality? You live literally forever. And when you're in danger, you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna turn into a giant steel I'm gonna turn into a giant steel ant or whatever. You know? Like, you run into some thug in an alley because that always fucking happens. You know, it's anime. It's superhero stuff. It always happens. Everyone runs into thugs in alleys. And you're just like, well, this is inconvenient. Give me 1 second. And you kind of just like, boom. Instantly turn into a giant steel scorpion. And they're like, maybe this pocket knife isn't the best weapon. Right? Like, that seems way better than whatever the fuck we were previously doing. Shit, man. Sneaking around in spider form when you could do this? I mean, obviously spider form is faster, but like, if you're infiltrating a city, this seems super easy to work with. Now fall. Just gonna fall on her ass. Yep. Gets back up. Turns into a spider.
ダサく
Failure.
なれば音の名を恥ずかしめる気か。
そんなこと
You don't have any right to say
様
that.
には言わせない。私がダサくなら
I shame grandfather's
様は
legacy.
何なの？
What about you?
何か不服があるのか？
Do you have some grievance with me,
この母
daughter?
春に決まってるでしょ。
You know I do.
な
Why?
んで
Why?
どうして
Unironically, a skill issue, yeah.
また災いを振り
Why
ま
are
い
you
ている
starting
の？
this nightmare again?
それをありに聞いてどうする？剣はしてに従うもの。知りたくば上で退屈げにしている
How do
主
you
に
expect
問う
me to
がい
answer
い。
that? A Tsurugi obeys its master. Ask her if you wish to know why. She looks like she could use the entertainment.
そうじゃない。狂人の考えなんかどうでもいい。
Forget about her. I don't care what a mad woman has to say.
その前の話よ。カカ様はどうして
I'm talking
あん
about
な
before.
人間を主にしたの？
Why'd you choose someone like her in the first place?
知事様の失敗で学ばなかったの？私たち村正は武人の独善を戒めるための剣。けれど、たった一つの間違いで
Didn't you learn anything from
災いの
grandfather's
決死になり
failure?
おせる。
We're forced to strip our masters of self-righteousness, but a single mistake and we become doomed for untold millions.
だから、カカ様はもう誰とも血縁するべきじゃなかった。する
And
に
that's
して
why you
も
should never have taken a
よ
new
っぽど
master.
慎重に選ばなくちゃいけなかった。
At the very least, you should have chosen more carefully.
意志の弱い人が村正を帯びて武者になれば、善悪創殺の掟に耐えられず狂うこともある。
You should have known that the law of balance drives the weak-willed to madness.
なのにどうしてまたそ
Why
の
don't you
人間を
choose
選
someone
んで
stronger?
無座と狂わせたの？ 500年前と同じように狂気を広めて殺戮を煽る羽目になっているのはなんでよ？
It's your fault she went insane and now she's spreading her insanity like grandfather's master did 500 years ago?
そうか。
I see.
どう
Seems
も
we
い
have a
く
few
つか
misunderstandings
誤
to
解
clear
があ
up.
るようだな。
誤解？
What?
まず、我がしては狂っておらぬ。
First, my master isn't as insane as you believe her to be.
いや、
Or perhaps she is.
狂っているのやもしれぬが。
She was always so.
あれは、あの者の人格を承知した上で、してと認め、
I accepted her as
縁を
master,
結んだ。
knowing full well what kind of person she was. Why
どう
would
し
you?
て？
三世。ナレは封印より放たれてから、ヤマトの歴史を学んだか？
Daughter, have you taken the time to study Yamato's history since emerging from that dusty shrine?
驚くべきこと。信じがたいことだが。
If not, it might surprise, no shock you to learn
あの南北朝の騒乱。
that the peace
あ
founded
れ
in
ら
that
村正
massacre's
がもたらした
aftermath
絶滅的な殺し合いの上に築かれた平和の時代は、100年と保たれなか
didn't
った
last
し
a single century.
戦国時
In
代？
the Sengoku period?
そう呼ばれているな。南北朝にも劣らぬ混沌の大乱世が、ほんの
That's
数
they
十
call it
年を隔てて、
An age of blood and strife equal to ours, and separated from it only by a few short decades.
これをどう
What
考
do you make of
え
this, daughter?
足りなかった。
It wasn't enough.
足りなかったのだ。
It wasn't enough.
あれほどの戦、あれほどの殺戮、あ
All
れ
that
ほど
death
の
and
大地獄を
destruction.
もってしても、
We unleash hell in the world, and for what?
諸人に戦の醜さ、愚劣さ、その独善を知らしめるには全く足りなかったのだ。
They still
人
aren't
は
able to
常に
grasp the
善
horror,
悪
the
創
folly.
殺、戦には正義なし。 村正が示した真理は瞬く間に忘れ去られた。
You can't destroy good without destroying, or destroy evil without destroying good, and they turn their backs on it without a second glance.
人々は飽きも
Won't
せ
be
ず、
forgotten.
また独善の渦に浸りきり、戦い、殺し、南北朝の時代よりも長い時を
Right
無意の
back into
騒
that
乱に
pit of
費やしたのだ。
self-righteousness. They fought and killed. They cast another 100 years into darkness.
人の愚かさを甘く見ていたわ。
We were naive. We underestimated mankind's foolishness.
あれら剣は魂を鋼鉄に打ち込める。故に不変の理念を持つが、
Our hearts are forged
肉
of
の
mighty
脳
steel,
髄は
and our
真理
will
を
is
刻
eternal
ん
and
で
unchanging.
刻
But
む
the
姿
minds
を
of flesh,
忘れ
it
ていく
seems,
ようだ。
they're incapable of retaining truth even after it's branded into them.
だから
That's it.
だから
That's why you're doing it
もう一度
again?
やるっていうの？
そうだ。
Precisely.
本末転倒じゃないの？そんなこと知事様だって望まない。
That's not what grandfather wanted. He never meant for all this death.
知事様はあくまで善悪相殺の戒めを人々に広めて争いを未然に収めようとしただけで。
He wanted to spread the law of balance. The war would end without violence.
なれは考えが浅い。
O ye of shallow wisdom.
先ほど口にしたな。始祖
Just
の
now you
失敗が
spoke
どうな。
of father's failure, and that was your gravest
そう
mistake.
音は失敗など一つもしておらぬ。
My father failed in nothing.
何を？
What are you saying?
音は花から表と裏を考えていた。
From the beginning, he planned for every eventuality.
表。してが尋常な人物であり、善悪相殺の断りを返して世に広めるならばそれでよし。
If
そ
our
して裏。
masters are men of character who
して
comprehend
が
the law
戒
of
律に
balance and
縛られ
spread
て
it
なお見境
with their
な
own
く、
will,
殺しに殺しを重ねるなら、
so much
それ
better.
もよし。
But even if the law breaks them and drives them to indiscriminate slaughter, that too is acceptable. Okay.
そのありさまを見た人々は、部の罪悪をおのずと悟るであろうからだ。
When they see the mountains of dead left in the madman's wake, all will come to know the nature of might. Fair enough.
音の資料の深
Now
さ
you
が
see
分
the
かっ
depth
た
of
か。
father's wisdom? I don't think Muramasa agrees.
してがいかなる人物であろうと、あれら村正は世に戦と部の真相を告示する宿願を果たせるのよ。
We embody the truth of battle regardless of our master's nature. Nothing can keep us from fulfilling our purpose.
でもそれでも銀星号はやりすぎでしょ？
Isn't Kinsego going too far?
高様のしては強さにしても凶暴さにしても法外にすぎる。
Your new
思って
master
みた
too
ら
powerful?
どこまで人間を殺し尽くすか。
She lacks even the slightest restraint. At this rate, all of Yamato will be reduced to ash?
一向に構わぬ。
I don't care.
人間とはどしがたいもの。南
Mankind's
北朝
beyond
の
helping.
災いからさえ、
If even the
Nani
horror of
mo
the
manabananda.
Nanbokucho War couldn't make them change their ways.
一度絶滅に瀕するところまで行かねば大義を得られまい。いや、もはやこの際、絶滅してもよしとしよう。
It'll take the threat of extinction for them to reach enlightenment, or perhaps extinction's precisely the answer. Me just sitting here thinking, wait a minute, don't people not give a fuck about the impending climate disaster and our possible extinction? People barely give a fuck. Most people don't, so I'm gonna say, you're gonna have to kill a shit ton of people before they even give a fuck. I mean, currently, not even Rokuhara cares about Kinsego, right? Kinsego's killed a few dozen villages, and they're just like, whatever. Like, you're gonna have to kill a shit ton of people before they even start thinking about you killing people in GHQ. It's anything more than a minor nuisance. Alright.
人が滅びれば争いもなくなる。音の望みが果たされるわ。
There can be no war in a world empty of life. Father's dream come true at last.
狂っている。
I suppose you think me
とでも
mad?
狂ってるでし
What
ょ。
am I supposed to think? Technically true.
なれが道理を分からぬだけだ。人の業深さを甘く見ているのよ。
You simply don't understand the way of things. You have faith in man's ability to change.
断りを知らず、世を知らず、 人を知らず己も知らず
Blind to the truth, blind to the world, blind to man, and blind even to yourself.
してをよそへ置いて先走った挙句かように這いつくばって泣き言を遮るのみとはな。これが三世村正。我
You
が
abandoned
娘
your
か。
master, challenged an enemy you have no hope of defeating, and now lie beaten and broken with nothing to offer but wretched sniveling. This is my daughter, the third of our line?
たわけめ。我が腹が慣のような打作を生み落としたとあっては音に顔向けできぬ。
You sicken me. How can I face my father having brought such filth as you into the world?
慣ごときはいつぶされて仏像にでもなるがいい。
Faithless scum like you should be melted down for a statue. Mother didn't return to her human form, still using this armor for some reason.
立ったか。
You still have the strength to stand?
まあ立たねばなるまいな。これを言われて相手を捨ておくようでは剣の一文が守れん。
Though strength or no, you haven't much choice. No Tsurugi worthy of her Shingane would take such an insult lying down.
自らクズ鉄と認めるに等しい
To。do so would be to admit yourself scrap.
されど
But alas,
口
my
惜
daughter,
しきかな。なれはクズ鉄だ。
scrap is just what you are.
次期隕石を利する抜刀術。ナレの捨てが完成させた手芸だな。
Yeah, strengthened by the power of electromagnetic repulsion. I believe that was your master who perfected that technique.
できるつもりでいるのか？
Do you think you can mimic it? I'll do better than that.
参れ。
Then show me. In before uses electromagnetic repulsion on the wrong sword.
知恵なき者は白日のもと闇を歩く。
The ignorant walk in
誰のことだ？
darkness. Even by the light of day, these words were meant for you.
熱量が尽き果て再生も効くまい。身に過ぎた技を使うからだ。
You haven't even the energy to repair yourself, I see. It's your fault for overestimating your abilities.
才なく真なく当人をもてあそんだ愚物。相応の惨めさで果てるがいい。
You wield your might like a toy with neither talent nor devotion. To die in disgrace is just what you deserve.
最後の情けだ。引導はこの母が渡してくれる。
I'll finish you myself. Consider it a mother's final mercy.
行け。
Farewell.
待って、村正。
Hold, Muramasa.
ミド、止めてくれるな。身内の恥は過ぎたい。
Mita, stay not my hand. I would cleanse my daughter's shame with her blood.
その気持ちはわかるが、仕方
I
ある
understand
ま
how
い。
you feel, but I'm afraid I must cut your fun short.
座興はここまでと、
It's time
あ
for the
ち
main
らが
event.
言うのだ。
Oh, is Kageaki actually here?
待ち人か。折よく。
So he's come, and
知恵
with
な
such
き
good
こやつに
timing.
も
It
い
seems
く
the
らかの
heavens made
天
up
運
for in
はあっ
luck,
たと見え
but
る。
they denied my daughter in brains. Kageaki managed to make it. Prison uniform and all. Oh, a new CG for
Kageaki.
Hikaru. Very nice. She's just casually wearing like a white dress. Alright. Like black straps. Interesting. Kageaki. Hikaru.
どうするのだ、ミド。
What is your will, Mito?
今日はもうよい。顔を見たら気が済んだ。
I've seen his face. That's enough for today.
影明も、剣がそのざまでは遊べまいしな。
Besides, his Tsurugi's in no shape to dance.
承知。
Understood.
影明、お前に伝えておくぞ。
I have a message for you, Kageaki.
俺は八幡宮へ行く。
I'll be going to Hachiman Shrine.
少し面白い思考を考えついてな。
I have an idea that might prove interesting. Oh, it's her! Alright. That's believable. We know she has the power. I like this CG, by the way. The spider, even though the spider's still 3D, it still looks pretty good. Hikaru in the foreground, with the spider at her, with the ant at her side. It's like the sun, the setting sun in the background. I assume it's the setting sun.
我が父に我が波動を捧げる。
Time's right.
そのためにふさわしい時と場を選んだ。
There, I'll dedicate my conquest to my father.
父に
Dear father?
近いうちだ。待っているがいい。
We'll meet again soon. Until then, farewell. Boop. Gone. Kinsego's departure, I turned my attention to the ground before me. My Tsurugi's lying there as still as a corpse. The severity of her damage is obvious at a glance. Her armor is warped and mangled, its crimson hue calling to mind flayed skin. Muramasa.
来ないで。
Go away.
帰って。
Please just
待てられ
leave.
たから。
お前を置いてか
Without you?
そうよ。
That's right.
ダメだ
No can do.
もう私は
I'm not your Tsurugi anymore.
あなたの剣じゃない。
俺にはお前がいる
I need you.
若様を止めたいなら。
Find a new Tsurugi if you want to stop Mother.
お前でなくては勝てない
Can't without you.
なんでよ。精
Why?
神干渉
So
の
immune
波に
to her
侵されないから。そんなの
What difference does it make?
関係ない。他の剣の方がマシよ。
Any Tsurugi would be better than me, look.
私よりはずっと今のこの姿を見ればわ
See
か
how
る
weak
で
I
し
am?
ょ。
How useless?
力は足りない。
I don't fight. I can't fight. I don't follow orders.
正しい判断もできない。のぼせた頭で勝てるはずない相手に挑んで。
We're off to face an enemy I can't possibly defeat. When my master shows up to fix my mistake, I'm too damaged to fly.
その上善悪創殺なんて余計な呪いのおまけつき。
On top of that, I even have this damn
私が
curse
何
to
の
deal
役に
with.
立つのよ。
What use am I?
いらないでしょ。
村正
Muramasa.
別の剣を探
Find
し
a
て
new Tsurugi.
私のことは
Just leave me here. I'll rust away
こ
eventually.
こに捨てていってくれれば。
Better plates of her armor begin quivering, producing a high-pitched sound like the chirping of a cricket. Is she crying?
別の剣
A different Tsurugi. Though the thought crossed my mind more than once, I admit, I've always rejected it outright. Any other Tsurugi would be vulnerable to Ginsego's power. So I told myself it was necessary for my mission that the curse was just one more burden I must bear. Because I've used Muramasa because I had no choice, and not because I chose her. Go. Muramasa. More human than most Tsurugi, she is willful and at times rebellious and prone to outbursts of emotion. She even attempted to use her power against me, her master. And then there's the law of balance. She renders every battle, every victory hollow and meaningless. Such is the Tsurugi with whom I spent these last 2 years. A real drain on the room, you know? Of course.
お前でなくてはダメだ
It has to be you. But for what?
でよ。
お前と出会ってから幾度もの戦いを経た
Well, in all the battles I fought
俺
since
が
we
生
met,
き延びてこられたのは
it's always thanks to
お
you I
前の
survived.
お前が助けてくれたから卵の孵化も阻止してこられた
On my own, I never could have stopped
俺の
Ginsego's
力
eggs from
と
hatching.
今更だがそれを認める
It's been 2 years, but I admit it now. I'm
これからも
powerless without
力
you.
を貸してほしい
私がしたこと
I've done more than just help.
忘れてはいないでしょう。
I know you haven't forgotten.
私はあなたに罪もない人を殺させてきた。
Because of me, you've had to kill innocents. First your mother, and then... I know.
何人も殺させた。
So
もう
many
嫌
lives.
でしょ。
Isn't it enough?
耐えられないでしょ。
Aren't you sick of it? Let's end it already.
私を捨てればいいのよ。
The only person who gets divorced of self-righteousness from this law of balance is the Tsurugi itself. Who is already a believer.
私がいなければ
Forsake our joining, the curse will end.
そんなことしなくて済むんだから。
Find a new Tsurugi who can defeat Kinsego.
あなたはそれを
Has to
探
be
せ
one
ばいい。
somewhere.
そんなものはない
There's no such Tsurugi, and even if there were,
仮にあったとしても俺が
I'd
望む
still choose you,
のはお前だ
Muramasa.
村正。
どうして？
善悪相殺、お前と共にある限り、俺はこれからも敵を一人倒す都度に、味方も一人切ることになる。
そうよ。
Right?
死すべからざる誰かを
I'll
殺
continue
す。
killing those who've done nothing wrong.
そうよ。
Yes.
だがな、
What about my
それな
enemies?
ら
Was
俺の
killing
敵と
them
なった
right?
人間は、俺は母を
I
殺し
killed my
た。
mother.
新田夕
I
日を
killed
殺した
Nita。Yuhi.
恵美氏の姉妹、
I killed those
フ
girls,
キと
Fuki
フ
and
ナを
Funa.
殺した。いずれも
Unforgivable
許され
crimes
ない
all,
罪
but
だ。
then
鈴川両部を殺したことは、長坂右京を殺したことは、
what if Suzukawa
風
Ryobu?
魔
What if
小太郎を
Nagasaka
殺したこと
Ryukyo?
は、
What if Fuma Kotaro? I have a question. If he acknowledges Tsurugi as people, does that mean if he kills someone wearing a Tsurugi, he has to kill 2 people? Or do they still not count as people? Make up your mind. You even gave them shapeshifting now. Into flesh and blood people again. Is Kinsego the only one that can do that? I swear. What a waste to just have them like chilling out in spider form the whole time. Oh well.
王子スグルを殺したこ
What if
とは、
Ochi Suguru? What if George
ジ
Gargan?
ョージ・ガーゲットを殺したことは、それは許さ
Were
れ
their
る
deaths
ことなのか。
justified?
許され
They were
ない。
not.
彼らは俺から
I
すれ
judged
ば
them
悪
villains,
人
but
だ
each
った。
fought for a cause they deemed
し
righteous.
かし、彼らにも彼らなりの善があった。善悪相殺。
See, now to slay a man is to destroy one good and one evil.
人
The
を
balance
殺す
must
と
be
い
paid
うことは、
indeed.
善と悪をもろともに立つということだ。村正、
Your grandfather was right.
お前は正しい。殺人はなべて悪
All
鬼
murder,
の所
all
業。
murder is the work of demons.
例外などな
There
い。
are no exceptions.
あらゆる殺人に正義はない。
Merely killings.
戦いに正義は
No
ない。
just battles.
村正、
You taught me this,
お
Muramasa.
前がそれを教えてくれた。お前ではなく、他の剣と血縁してこの2年を戦っていた。
If I spent these 2 years joined with some other Tsurugi, I might have been calling
自
myself a
分の
hero
こと
right
を
now.
英雄とでも思っていたかもしれん。世の人々を救うために悪と戦い、これを打つ。正義の武者だとな。
I might have gotten it into my head. I
そ
was
うして
on
銀
some
星号を
sacred
倒し
quest.
た暁には、
I was gonna save the
ロ
world
カロ
from
ンを
minions
打
of
倒し
evil.
ようなどと考えていたか。
And after I defeated Ginsego, I might very well have gone on to fight Rokuhara.
想像するだにおぞけの走
I
る
shudder at
話
the
だ。
thought to start a war for some
独
self-righteous
善の化
concept
粧
of
でしかな
justice.
い正義に酔い、騒乱を引き起こすなど。村正、俺に正義はない。
There's no justice in my battle.
その真実を決して忘れたくない。
I never want to forget that truth, and that's why I
だ
need
から
you.
お前が必要だ。お前を捨てて別の剣を取れば、善人は殺さず、悪人は殺すという独善の道を。
It'll be the same as deciding I can kill the evil without killing the good.
世には死んで良い人間と死んではならない人間とがいて、自分にはその区別をする権利があるのだと認めることになる。
I will give in to the notion that killing some people is right and that I, of all people, am qualified to judge them.
俺は高顔無知な
I
英
don't want to
雄
be
にな
hero
どなり
proud
た
and
くはない。
shameless. I don't want people to look
世
at me
間の
and see
人
an
々は
example
そ
to
んな
live
俺
by.
を見て、正義の戦いがあると信じ、後に続こうとする。
What if I inspire them to follow in my footsteps, to believe that killing for a good
馬鹿
cause
げた
is
始
just?
末になるのはなおのことごめんだ。
Ichijo intensifies.
それこそ災いというものだ。
That would be every bit as destructive as Ginsego.
リド。
俺はお前を選ぶ。
Choose you, Muramasa.
善悪相殺の戒
I
律
choose
を
to
選
slay
ぶ。
good and evil both.
お前も
Do you not choose me too?
俺を選んではくれないか。
本当に。
You sure?
俺には
It must be you.
お前でなくてはならないのだ。
リド。
It
カカ様を生かしたのは私。
was my fault for letting Mother live. It was
金
me
星
who
号
let
を
her
この
return
時
to
代
wreak
に
havoc
呼び
on
込
your
んだ
age.
のは
That's
私。
why I
自分一人で戦わなくては
must
なら
fight
な
this
い。
battle alone.
俺にもそっくり
I
同
felt
じ
the
思い
same.
が
I
あっ
still
た。
do, however.
いや、認めよう。村正。俺もお前も一人では弱い。
It's time for us to admit our weakness. Alone, we're nothing.
互いが必要だ。
We need each other, and there will never be victory unless
二
we're
人
one.
で一気とならねば。一緒に
Come, fight with me.
戦ってくれ。
I raise my right hand to my mouth and bite deep into the flesh of the thumb and present the bleeding finger to Muramasa. This is the warrior's most precious finger without which he cannot wield his sword. Right thumb? Okay. Slowly, timidly, Muramasa lifts the leg in answer. It touches my finger, my blood stains the surface of her armor. A sharp sound echoes in the space between us, clear and high like a crystal bell. It's a ritual ancient and hallowed from the simplest and purest form of joining. Thus the bond is forged and Muramasa and I become a Musha at last.
Itazo!
We found him. Time to blast off. Wait, we can't fly. The OP plays again? I never noticed that. There's a short shot of Masamune and Muramasa fighting on the ground there. I thought that was actually pretty cool. It's been a while since we saw that. I'm pretty sure I skipped it last time we went through it. If I didn't, well, I noticed some new details. Obviously, we know who the chocolate elves are. Yeah, we know who those are. Most of them. So that eliminates some of those people we didn't quite know at the start. Just kind of nice. And I think we know who everyone in all the scenes is too. Recognize almost everyone. There might be one or two people we don't know in the assembly shots. But they were pretty quick. Alright, that was actually a nice touch. Okay, we're into it. We're paired up. We're ready to go. Let's see. This is the first time in weeks I've been in His Highness's presence. Before anyone's had a chance to speak, I kneel and press my head to the mats.
毎度の宮殿下。先日は多大な迷惑をおかけいたしました。
I offer my deepest apologies, Your Highness, for the great inconvenience I caused you the other day.
日頃のご高恩に報いるどころか、あだで返す試技となったこと。
No words can express the shame I feel at having repaid your generosity in a manner
面
so
目次
foul.
第もございません。
まあ、Kageaki君。大の男がそんな縮こまったらあかんえ。
No, a man your age shouldn't be so meek. The voice from behind the curtain sounds genuinely forgiving, but considering the mess I caused, that alone isn't enough to lift my head.
日頃世話になってるのはこっちなんやから。たまには迷惑の一つもかけてくれた方が安心できるくらいやわ。
I'm the one who owes you. You could stand to cause me a little trouble every once in a while.
なあ、省長。
Aren't you?
恐縮です。
You're too kind, Your Majesty. At least it wasn't, say, assassinating Orokuhara in general. That could... and setting the whole base on fire. That could have been bad.
まあ、Kageaki君が脱獄したって聞いたときは、チャー吹いたけどな。
I mean, sure, I did almost choke on my tea when I heard you broke out of jail. Though delivered glibly, the words drive my face further into the floor.
それが剣のためやったっちゅうんやから、見上げたもんやね。
But I gotta respect the
武
guy
者
who'll
の
go all the
鏡
way
や
for
ない
his rigging.
か。
You're a true Musha, kid.
なあ、省長。
Right, you?
恐縮です。
You're too kind, Highness.
菊池。お前さんまでそんな調子やと、Kageaki君も頭上げられんやろ。
Come on, Kikuchi, if you don't stop kowtowing, how can he?
は。しかし、 今回は私の管理不行き届きで。
Still, Your Majesty, this incident was the result of my negligence, therefore the responsibility should lie with...
ああ、もうええ、もうええ。
Okay, okay, you
こ
get
の
off
二
already.
人は手に負えんわ。
You guys are all rainbows and sunshine, huh?
何事ものを済んだわけやし。
Let's leave it at
こ
that,
の
eh?
話はもうこれまで。ええね、二人とも。
Yes, Highness. Prince claps his hands to signal the end to this discussion. The Commissioner and I bow once more in unison.
ああ、け
While we're on
ど
the、topic...
影明、
Yes, Majesty?
あそこの看守さんには一言挨拶しとくとええよ。
Don't forget to thank your
あの
guard
人
at the
がむやみに
jailhouse.
騒がんでくれたおかげで、ことを大きくしなくて済んだんやから。
He's the one who kept things quiet.
そう
I
でした
wasn't
か。
aware. I do indeed owe my thanks. Once again, I'm reminded how many people's lives are touched by my mission. I have to take greater care not to cause them trouble.
さて、んじゃあ本題に入ろうか。
Let's get down to business.
今日お前をここへ呼んだのは叱責のためではないのだ。
We didn't
Let's
call
see
you
your
just to hear
kingdom.
you apologize. There's more pressing matters to discuss.
銀星号の
You mean
件ですか。
Ginsego? I already informed them of Hikaru's declaration and recommended that the prince and commissioner, of course, find some excuse to leave Hachiman Shrine for a while. There's no way of knowing when she might attack. Is that what this is about?
いや違う。
Not that.
そ
It's
ちらも
certainly a
下級だ
concern,
が
but
今日
today's
話したい
meeting
こ
has a
とは
different
別だ。
purpose. I see.
ええね、影明君。
Just so we're
今からの話はよそで言うたらあかんえ。
just so we're good. You can't let anyone else go into this.
なんて君には
Well, I think
念
you'd
を押さ
blab,
な
of
くても
course.
平気やろうけどな。
And they're going in with the assassination plot, and he's gonna be like, bruh, I ain't doing that for no reason. But usually Ginsego just murders the guy. I don't think you blow.
しかし宮殿下、ことがことですので。
Still, Majesty, it's an extremely sensitive
影
matter.
明。
Kageaki?
いかようなお話であれ。
I swear not to divulge what I
決して
learned
他
today
言
to
し
any
ない
third
と
party for
お
any
約
reason.
束いたします。
うん。
Real cool.
影明君みたいな人がそう言うてくれると本当に安心できるわ。
No, I can trust a guy like you. The prince chuckles, ho ho ho, but I hear the tension in his voice. This business must be serious indeed, something involving politics, I expect, but what could it have to do with me?
近々、八幡宮で宝刀参拝の儀式が行われるのは知っているな。
As you know, the Lord of the Genji will be making his pilgrimage to Hachiman Shrine within the next few days.
はい。準備は滞りなく進んでいると聞いています。
Preparations are going smoothly, I've heard.
その祭礼の場で、
During the ceremony, we've seen this scene twice now. It fades to black this time. Did we reject it? I pay my respects to Miss Makimura and step into the commissioner's residence, and as always, the entrance hall is in magnificent condition, kept sparkling clean by the dutiful stewardess. Upon entering the room set aside for my use, I sit down at the desk and unfold the paper I brought back from the shrine. Several minutes pass in silence.
またしばらくはこっちの家なの
I
ね
guess we'll be staying here for a while.
村正か。
Yeah, Muramasa,
Oh.
that's right.
そうだ。
宮様に何か仕事でも頼まれた
Did Highness give you a job or something?
そんなところ
He
だ。
did.
ふーん
I see.
どう説明したものか。
How to explain?
無理に話してくれなくてもいいのよ事情を知
You
ろう
don't
と
have to
知る
explain
ま
if
い
you
と
don't want to.
私のやることは変わらない
Whatever the mission, my role stays the same.
あなたが必要とする力を全て用
Provide
意
the
する
power you need to fight.
そうか。
Thanks. Still, I
だ
think
が
you better know what's going
や
on.
はり話しておこう。お前の知恵も借りたい。
We'll need to put our heads together for this one.
悩むようなこと
Is there a problem?
なかなか。
You could say that.
何を頼まれた
What
の
did His Highness ask you to do?
Hmm.
Well,
回りくどく言え
to put it obtusely,
わざわざ
must you?
ば、武家の棟梁にとって鶴岡八幡宮は鬼門の地。そう語られるようにしろと。二度とな
The
れば、
heads of the great warrior
成
heads.
果も不及だろうな。
Hachiman Shrine has been rumored a place of ill luck ever since Shogun Minamoto no Shanetomo was assassinated there by his brother's son 700 years ago. Should something like that ever happen again, I imagine the rumor would become difficult to deny.
それって
You mean it's time for some good old regicide? Oh wait, sorry, it's a shogun. I don't know what that is. Each year, the patriarch of the Genji clan makes a pilgrimage to Hachiman Shrine to pray for continued fortune and war, and as a token of his piety, he presents a sacred sword to the shrine. My mission? Confront the Rikue Shogun, supreme commander of the Dragon Army, noble of the high third rank Ashikaga Moriyuji, and kill him.
そし
with
て
the Shogun's death.
大きく動揺するであろう幕府を朝廷権威で補強してやり
Shogunate will be thrown into chaos. The Imperial Court will take this opportunity to help restore order, regaining influence over
こ
the
の
affairs of
公
state.
部合体による
This
新体
union
制
of
で
civil and
官
military
民の
governments
対
will
立を
restore
緩
people's
和
faith in their leaders and
治
promote
政に安
stability.
定をもたらし GHQ の介入する隙をなくしていく
And it'll eliminate any excuse GHQ would have to intervene.
まとめるとそういうことやね。
Pretty much the idea. It's a bold plan, to say the least, to challenge a powerful regime with only a single sword in your service. There's no possible way to ensure success, but if things continue as they are, then sooner or later allies will make their move to supplant Rokuhara. Either GHQ will win and claim total dominion, or Rokuhara will drive them back across the sea, but whatever fate befalls Yamato, it'll come with a heavy price in blood. And then there's the third possibility, the worst imaginable, that neither side scores a decisive victory and the war drags on for years. If we desire an even relatively favorable future, then some action needs to be taken. While the plan presented by the prince and the commissioner is indeed reckless, there's no denying its necessity.
どうやろ
How about it? If the assassination is to take place, it'll be by my hand. Ashikaga Moriyuji is a famed Musha and not the sort of man who can be slain by conventional means. Only another Musha could take his head, but Prince Haruhiro doesn't beg my aid, nor does he regale me with patriotic rhetoric. He's given me my mission, and it's up to me to accept it. The prince's plan would indeed seem to be Yamato's best hope. It'll be not be easy to accomplish. The obstacles arrayed against him are too numerous to count, and I can't deny he possesses some quality that makes me believe he can rise to the challenge. Having the commissioner to support him is another point in his favor. Most of all, I can conceive of no better strategy. I'm hardly in a position to reject theirs, so can I do it? Can I take the life of Ashikaga Moriyuji?
大和のために
Would bring peace to Yamato. Save a million innocent lives, take the life of one evil man. That is precisely what I've been doing these past 2 years, and each time I slew an infected Musha, I was protecting Yamato from the scourge of Ginsego, destroying an evil so many goods could survive. It's the same, right? Exactly the same? I mean, we've seen this conflict a few times. I wonder if he'll change his opinion here. They are making us reread it again, like they always do. The prince's mission, my mission, both for the greater good. Both tainted by the sin of self-righteousness. For Yamato, for the people, sweet-sounding words, yes, but peel back the layers of rhetoric, and you see them for what they are. Which is not to say that the prince is motivated by greed or ambition. I'd be a fool to believe that, but no matter what your motives are, to eliminate your rivals by force is indeed a self-righteous act. Brand your enemies good evil and destroy it to serve your own, hence for each man who falls beneath the blade, one good and evil must meet their end. I have my
行
answer.
きましょう宝刀参拝の日
Very well. I'll confront
Ashikaga
Ashikaga
Moriyuji
Moriyuji on the day of the ceremony.
やってくれ
You'll
る
kill him for us! The prince sounds surprised by my reply, and though it doesn't show in its face, I can tell the commissioner is no less so. I shake my head.
今はお約束いたしかねます
That I cannot promise.
何本人とまみえてから決し
At
ま
this
す
time, I can't decide whether to take his
切る
life.
か切らぬか足利森内は殺さねばならない男なのかこの目で見て
I must see him with my own eyes and judge what meaning his death will have.
かえってご迷惑とあれば無論強いて望みはいたしませんここで聞いたことは全て
I mean, the
忘
fact
れ
that he's even gonna go
直ちに
along
立ち去
with
りま
it
しょう
tells you that there's a chance he'll die, right? If the condition doesn't meet your demands or needs, then of course I'll not press the issue. I'll forget this conversation ever happened.
いかがか
Is this acceptable?
ええよ
Yeah, works for me.
宮殿か
Highness.
計画を打ち明ける段階で影明君を信頼するっちゅうことは決めてたんや
You trusted him
な
enough
ら
to
と
tell
こ
him the
とん
plan,
信
right?
じきろうやないか
Might as well trust him all the way.
影明君の判断を信じて任せるわ
I'll leave the decision in your capable hands.
ご後輩痛み入ります
Your Highness humbles
切
me.
ったらあかん思うたらそれでいい
If you decide he shouldn't die, well,
その
alright,
時
fine.
は後で影明君の考えをわしらに聞かせてくれな
I'll look forward to hearing your reasons.
Huh.
Yes, Highness. Far too much faith has been placed in me, and I'm grateful, but the weight is crushing. All the more so for the knowledge I must repay their trust with blood.
もう一つ
There's one more thing.
おう
Yeah?
我が剣村正のルールはご存知であられるはず
You are aware, of course, of the law that binds my Tsurugi, Muramasa?
舞殿の宮殿か
Your Highness, if I choose to slay Ashikaga
もしも
Moriyuji,
自分があなたのお命をもいただかねば
it will
なりませ
require
ん
your life in exchange. One good for one evil, such is the law of balance?
よろしいか
Is this acceptable?
承知したい
Works for me.
このアホが大将領と差し違えるわけやな 大儲けやないか。
My life for the Shogun sounds like a bargain.
わしの代わりならどこにでもおるわ。
Won't be hard finding a replacement for this old fool.
宮殿か。
Your Highness. The words bear no trace of deception, or at least none my ears can discern. It is possible, of course, the prince is playing me. He intends to have me assassinated after I complete the mission. But whatever the case, my heart tells me he's worthy of my deepest respect.
Kageaki.
Kageaki?
はい。
Sure. The commissioner's voice is not unexpected. Neither are the words that follow.
その時は私を切れ。
Take my life instead.
菊池、
Kikuchi?
いいな。
Are we clear? The commissioner's eyes remain fixed on me, and I hear resolve like an immovable boulder in his voice. The law of balance. Should I slay more Yuji than this man too? Must die by my hand?
所長。
Commissioner. Is he gonna at least try to make a decision for once? Father? How many years since I last called him this? He took me in, made me family. I owe this man everything. Take his life is unthinkable. But, however, does this mean I can kill the Shogun without a second thought? He too is human like the rest of us, with merits and flaws, crimes and accomplishments. The Commissioner's good indeed seems to outweigh the Shogun's, but that's only because of where I stand. Someone with a different background and different experiences might well see things a different way. Condemn one but not the other to death, it would be self-righteousness. In self-righteousness, the philosophy of Muramasa the philosophy of Muramasa teaches is the root of all conflict, so it justifies bloodshed and fosters hatred. Just so.
Kageaki.
Are we clear, Kageaki?
了解しました。
I understand.
対象料を切った。
If I kill Ashikaga Moriyuchi, I will kill you. Kill my father, I
あな
must.
た。
I can't. If I can't, then neither can I kill the Shogun.
という次第だ。
And that's the story.
本当に切るかどうかはともかく、その用意はするっていうこと？
You do want to be ready just in case?
そうなる。
Right. Looking back on it, I suppose my reply was a little too non-committal, but perhaps I should have just turned them down flat. Still,
どうかした
what's
か。
wrong, I asked, sensing the question in Muramasa's silence. After a few moments of hesitation, she replies,
ねえ、ミド。そんな
You know,
話を
was the
断
reason
れ
you
なかっ
couldn't
たの
just turn
は
them down?
この間の。
Because you felt guilty about my...
いいよ。
about breaking out of jail?
脱獄の件は無関係だ。
That's not related. I'm worried about Kinsego.
それよりも、銀星号の予告が。
She said she'll be going to Hachiman Shrine.
お前も聞いていただ
Heard what she
え
said?
え。
Yeah.
まさか周囲が爆兵で固められる宝刀参拝を狙って現れるとは思えない
I
が
can't imagine she'd appear somewhere as heavily guarded as the
Nen no
shrine on the
tame da.
day of the ceremony, but you never know.
八幡宮に詰めていれば
If we're already
万
there,
一の時に素早く
we'll
対
be
応
able to
でき
act
る
quickly in the event she does attack. I
宮殿下の依
accepted
頼
His
を半
Highness's
端に受けた
request
のは
only because
言
it
ってし
doesn't
まえば
prevent
そのつい
an
でだ
inconvenience. Like, just assassinate the local leader, the local leader of your military junta. No big deal. It's not an inconvenience. The real inconvenience would be not being where Takuru is. I'll be risking death by infiltrating the shrine. Attempting an assassination won't significantly increase that risk. God. May as well kill someone while I'm there. Not exactly a rock-solid line of reasoning, I admit.
ともかく
In any case, whether I go with it or not,
や
we
る
need
や
a
らぬ
plan.
は置いて当日八幡宮にどう潜り
How do I
込
sneak
み
into the shrine?
元帥にどう
How
近
do I
づ
get
く
within
か
reach of the Shogun? Lend me your thoughts. I'm having some trouble. Well,
う
okay.
ん。
I slide the unfolded paper towards Muramasa. Her vision is, of course, superior to mine, but she comes down from the ceiling to examine it anyway. Though the paper has no title, it's obvious at a glance what it is.
八幡宮の地
A
図。
map of the shrine,
あ
drawn
あ
by the
宮殿
prince
下の
himself.
直筆だ
なんか
Doesn't it seem a little
お
odd?
かしくない？
I assume she doesn't mean to criticize the prince's drawing skills, though clearly the work of an amateur, the map is reasonably accurate into scale. In which case she must be referring to the several discrepancies that exist between this map of the shrine and those that are publicly available.
これは本殿よね。
It's the main building, right?
そうだ
Yep. Muramasa indicated the upper shrine, which sits at the top of the grand staircase.
その奥にある。
What's this back here?
これは何？
隠された裏参道だそうだ
A hidden passage hit.
ぐるり
The
と登
passage
っ
hidden
て
behind the shrine
地下へ
leads
向かう
underground.
その先の
From at
広
the
間。
end,
下宮だ
the lower shrine.
下宮はこっちでしょ？
Isn't this the lower
そ
shrine?
れは若宮若宮も下宮と呼ばれるが本当はこちらを指すらしい
It's the Wakamiya, where Hachiman's other aspects are enshrined. Sometimes it's called the lower shrine, but the term more correctly refers to this one. I point to the chamber located directly beneath the main shrine. Until I saw this map, I had no idea it existed. It's only used for special ceremonies, I'm told, and is not open to the general public.
応答参拝の手順だが、参拝そのものは
As for the
大将
ceremony,
領
the
と
sword
10
offering
人
will
余
be
りの
performed
側
by the
近だけ
shogun
で
and
行
10 of
わ
his
れ、
personal attendants.
宇多落から8万宮までは相当数の兵を引き連れてく
They'll
る
have
が、
brought a full company of soldiers
彼
from
らは
further
祭
out
祀
here.
に関与しない。
They won't take part in the ceremony itself. The infantry guard the perimeter, with
武者
Musha
衆は
patrolling the
境内
sky
や上空で
and
警
the
備を
shrine
つける。
grounds.
大将領と側近は上宮へ向かう。そこで太刀を奉納、祭儀を
The
執り行
shogun
う。
proceeds with his attendants to the upper shrine where the offering takes place.
ここまで襲撃の隙はない。
It'll be impossible to make our move during this stage.
大イチョウの影に隠れてってわけにはいかないのね。
I hear hiding behind the ginkgo tree works.
実朝公の時は、本人も随員も非武装であったから、苦行はそれで成功したがな。
Sugyo is only able to assassinate
森
San
内
and
が連れ
Tomo
る
because
側近
neither
のう
he
ち、
nor his
少なくとも
attendants were
半
armed
数
at the
は
time.
武者だという。
Moriuji, I'm told, is certain to have several Musha with him. Even if I take them by surprise, they'll likely intercept me before I reach the Shogun. The Musha on patrol will arrive within seconds and I'll surely die.
しかしこの後、
However, immediately afterwards,
森内は愚部
he'll
の
leave
者
his
と分か
retinue
れ、地下へ向かう。
and proceed underground.
秘密の下宮にも太刀を奉納す
He
る
must
ため、
present his second sword, this time at the
同
secret
行
lower
を許
shrine.
されるのは、
But this
祭司
ceremony
を行う
might
神
be
官数
accompanied
名だけ。
only by the few priests responsible.
護衛はなし
No guards, that's convenient.
また随分とおあつらい向きね。
Muramasa, time to learn shapeshift so you can turn into a person and not look like a giant suit of metal. Or a giant robot spider.
これが古くからの慣
It's
例
an
で、
ancient
変
tradition,
更
you
はで
can't
きないら
change
しい。
it. Getting wrecked by tradition feels bad, man. Well, he technically could do... to do so would make him appear a coward in the eyes of his fellow warriors, and I can't imagine their conqueror of Yamato would risk undermining his authority, not with the four generals poised to make a grab for his seat.
暗殺の機会があるとすれば、この下宮
If I'm
参
going to
拝の
assassinate
時
the
だけだ。
Shogun, it'll be my only chance.
でしょうね。
Guess so.
問題は、
The problem is how to carry it out the attack. I can't hide in the lower shrine. Every inch of it'll be swept before the Shogun's arrival, and afterwards security around the shrine will be too tight to break through from the outside.
やはり
There's only one way to get close enough.
手を、
神官になりすまして
Disguise yourself as one of the
大
priests.
将領と一緒に下宮へ降りる。
ああ、
Yep. Assuming I follow through with the assassination, I'll have to flee Hachiman Shrine post-haste. Fortunately, Rokuhara won't be expecting an attack from inside the net. It should be simple to break out.
そうね。
Sounds like it could work.
問題はなさそうだけど、何を悩んでるの？
What's the problem?
お前をどうするかだ。
What to do with you? Moriuji's a Musha. I'll have no chance against him without my Tsurugi.
持ち込む方法が思いつかん。
I have no idea how to get you inside.
私だけ
I'm good at
あらか
hiding.
じめ潜伏しておくってのはダメな。
事前検査には武者も加わるそうだ。いかにお前が隠形に
There'll
優
be
れ
armored
ていて
Musha present
武者
during the
の耳
preliminary
や
sweep.
肌まで騙すのは無理だ
As
ろう。
stealthy as you can be, I doubt you can fool their radar and thermal scans.
検査が済んだ後で潜り込もうとしても
Well, I guess sneaking inside after they're
同
done
じ
won't
こと
work
よ
either.
ね。
警備隊に武者がいないはず
I
は
can't
ないか
imagine
ら
there
な
won't be Musha guarding the perimeter.
細部の中に紛れ込むとか。
Maybe I could pretend to be part of the regalia?
無理だろう。
Don't be ridiculous.
鏡や玉と一緒に雲の彫像があったら普通気づく。キテレ
If
ツ
they
すぎる。
open the shrine and see a
文化的にあ
giant
り得る。
metal spider sitting there with the mirrors and beads, they'll know something's wrong. It's too bizarre.
私、あなたの家で500年ばかり鏡や玉と一緒にご神
I
体や
mean,
って
I
たん
spent
ですけど、
500 years locked in your family shrine with mirrors and beads, you know?
そうだったな。
You know what? That's a fair point. She's like, I could hang out in a shrine. I've been there before. In retrospect, it was rather bizarre. This is what it comes down to. How to get Muramasa inside. For me, it's as simple as donning a priest's habit, but that'll take some creativity if I want my Tsurugi with me. Should I pose as a Rokuhara Musha instead? No, that won't work. My cover will fail the second I make for the lower shrine. Moreover, I can hardly expect to pass for a soldier. Even in the million-strong army, there's no such thing as a nameless Musha. If someone disappears and an unknown Musha shows up to take his place, they'll know something's wrong. It might work, given time to repair, but that's time we don't have.
どうも手立ては
It
なさ
doesn't
そ
seem
う
to be a
だ。
solution. I might have to give up on this
暗殺を
assassination.
断念するか。俺が単身で潜入するだけしよう。
That shouldn't be too
それな
difficult.
ら
at
さ
least.
して難しいことはない。
危険よ。バレた時どうするの？それに、襲う気もないのに潜り込んだって意味がないじゃ
It's
な
far
い。
too dangerous. What if he sees through your disguise? Besides, there's no point sneaking down there if you're not gonna kill him.
その通
Wait,
り
but
だ
I
な
did。give the prince my word. I can't do
約束
nothing.
した手前、何もせずでは宮殿下に対して
Muramasa,
義
not
理が
even
立たん。
considering learning shapeshifting, just sitting there casually talking. Like, oh man, I can't find a way to disguise myself.
待って、
Wait, I know.
要は 私も神官のふりをすればいいわけよね。
I just have to pretend to be a priest too. I mean, we knew this was coming. I don't have any complaints.